found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio Show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340 WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
All right, are you fired up? Are you focused? And are you prepared? My name is Basilio. I'm pumped. Absolutely pumped. You cannot believe how pumped I am to be with you today. You cannot believe how pumped John Adams is to be with you today. John Adams, what's your level of pump right now? I want to know. The world wants to know.
First of all, don't put words in my mouth. I didn't tell you I was pumped up. We were both in Pennsylvania at the same time, and I met some people from your area. I asked, there were 4 people. I asked all if they knew you. That they never heard of you or any members of your family.
Characters, John. Characters are welcome. And John, by the way, I got my hat on today. It says the vet, 1971, 1999, 2003. It says pride, pretzels, prison. What do you think of the characters, John, that you met from this area? Because I met like 3 characters yesterday, and these people are total characters here, John, like total characters.
Yeah, this one man I met was he was older than I am. His wife was with him, and his sister. And at first, because I heard him way before he sat down next to me, we were at this Ben and Jerry's ice cream shop. Huge crowd of people in Vermont. This is in Vermont. They were visiting from the Philadelphia area. Yeah, I thought he was a total blowhard. And then he sat down at our table, and the guy was hilarious. I thought he was leaving. I told him he had to go. Time was running out, and he needed to be for his hotel lounge act in 30 minutes. I mean, this guy was really funny. One of his buddies growing up was a guy named Harry Shue that played for the Raiders. Won a Super Bowl with the Raiders. Offensive lineman, played a long time in the NFL. This guy was really funny. You know, I should have got his name because you could use him on your show. He's very funny.
Well, here's the thing. Like, this place and Knoxville have more characters per square foot than any place I've ever been. I mean, Knoxville, East Tennessee, that fan base, the way we laugh, the way we recall, like a guy like TGMD, who's in the hunt and in the mix. TGMD, what's your level of fired upness, focusedness, and preparedness today for this show?
Oh, I'm always fired up. I'm pretty focused, and I'm just got done reading really the blog, so I'm prepared as well.
The great TGMD. Here's the thing for you. Tennessee baseball. We're going to have Berkey on in an hour or 2. Tennessee baseball came out of that major league draft about as well as humanly possible. Yes or no?
Yes, they did very well. Yeah, you're always going to lose those high end guys. You know, Grinlinger's brother, the Condon kid from down there in Georgia, who's kind of another Drew Gilbert like guy. You're always going to lose those high end guys. But yeah, they lost 1 or 2 of the portal gets. But yeah, they did. They came out of that about as well as possible. We've seen this kind of trend in recent years with full scholarships with NIL that there's a real value in going to college now. So, I mean, unfortunately, Tennessee wasn't the only team that came out of it really well. You know, Vandy did really well out of the draft this year for the first time in a while. They usually get rated. LSU did really well. They got a lot of high-end talent to campus as well. But, yeah, Tennessee came out of the draft as well as they could have.
Taylor is preparing for the blog tomorrow, an exhaustive this week in Tennessee baseball. He took a couple weeks off for sabbatical reasons. I'm going on, John, 3 weeks in my brother's house. My brother kind of lives by himself, and He's sort of a single guy. He's never been married. His house is beautiful. He's a contractor. This place is, I mean, you can see it behind me, and this place is exquisite. It's unbelievable, Andy. How sick do you think? Because my brother the other night, we were out eating dinner, and he looks at me, John, and he says, now, when are you gonna, when are you gonna go back to Knoxville? Now, John, we have a beach trip scheduled that we all do as a family here in the first week in August. And I always work. So people don't even know I'm on vacation. I just go, I take my stuff and I work. Like I've got my car with me here. I haven't taken one day off from the show since I've been here. I just, so this is like a little sabbatical vacation time. And last summer I wasn't able to move, so I wasn't able to get back to my old stomping ground. So I'm getting a good snootful, and in my case, a real good snootful with the size of my nose of this place. How sick do you think my brother is? Because it is literally the odd couple. He's like, look at his place, John. Look at this. Can you see the screen? Look how it looks like a museum in here. Nothing is out of place. Everything is, it literally is like the odd couple.
Yeah, your place here, it looks kind of like a warehouse for a museum. Like hey, we need to bring some more stuff out and put it in the museum. Okay, go out back and get that stuff. Yeah.
So people say, well, you're on like a vacation. Actually, I'm working every day. I'm doing my blog every night. Like last night I sat there. My brothers, we were all sitting in here watching the Home Run Derby. And they were like, and my one brother was like, well, what are you doing? I said, I'm working on my blog. He goes, really? I said, yeah. I said, a couple hours every night I put into it. And like today, I'm going to go watch the World Cup and work on some salesy stuff and reach out to some people for the show and take care of some of those things. But, John, it's a weird thing being in a different place. It's like, and I know why you travel, you and your lovely, because it's kind of invigorating for you just to get in a different environment, which is an interesting thing, right? About the way we're created.
I tell you what was interesting was driving through Pennsylvania in massive thunderstorms and flooding. I thought we were going to flood out. We had to spend the night in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Did you come over the weekend?
That weekend when they had not this past weekend, the weekend before. July 4th weekend, that Sunday, we left Gettysburg, and we were headed to Albany, New York, and we couldn't get past Hershey. I really thought we were going to flood out.
Here over the weekend, there was in South Philadelphia, what they've been having trouble here with are these single cell storms, and you can't predict where the single cell storm is going to attack. Like not a big line, but the other day they had in the city, in one portion of the city, they had 20 cars wash away, basically. One little piece of the city. People had their cars sitting here. They went outside and their cars were on top of other cars. I mean, you know how much rain has to rain, John, for it to pick a car up and move it? Think about that.
Yeah, well, they've been popping up. Those storms have been popping up all over the country.
Yep.
So when are you headed back? Where are you going on your beach? What beach do you
so we go to a place called Ocean City, New Jersey. And the place where we're going to stay is 2 doors down from Jay Wright's place. We're going to be right near Coach Wright, the great Jay Wright, who we see him walking on the boardwalk. He looks like every other guy because it's just a bunch of paisans. It's like being in Little Italy or maybe Big Italy. I don't know. Have you ever been over to Ocean City, John?
No, I almost did. I came very close to it. I went up
pretty
from Chesapeake up that eastern shore. Yeah, it's kind of pricey.
Oh, it's yeah. We all pitch in, everybody we get a big house, and that's kind of the way it goes. These days with the beach, man, if you don't all pitch in, like if you're going by yourself, you're going to get hammered. But let's move along here, because yesterday on the show, we talked about a bunch of stuff, and today I want to get into some of it. And hey, Matt, what did you make of feel Steele's appearance yesterday on the air. And thank you, Matt, for cutting that up and making it sound pretty. It looks like we've had about 1,500 people so far on YouTube alone view it. Several other thousand people in podcast form have listened to it. And Matt, what did you make of Phil Steele's appearance yesterday?
Yeah, it's really good as always. One of the best guests that you have each year that I enjoy. I obviously get the magazine every year and have for 20 years now. That's makes me feel really old, but no, I love how he goes through the lines. There's always 2 or 3 of them that kind of throw me off, where he takes in like scheduling dynamics into account and certain things that it'll be probably a field goal off of the Vegas line right now. But no, it was a really good appearance. But I always enjoy when you have him on.
Hey, John, I want to go through some of these numbers. And by the way, we're 8 days out from DGG. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm feeling better and better about it. And a caller brought this up yesterday. I wish I remember the caller's name, but I was sitting at the local Wawa doing the show yesterday, and I got distracted. I ran into one of my brothers. I bought him a cheap lunch. I'm not kidding, John. I was sitting at the Wawa, and I was like, that guy looks familiar. And it was my brother walking in. I ran in behind him during the commercial break and bought his lunch. He goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm doing my show. He goes, no, you're not. I said, yeah, I am. And I opened my phone and showed him YouTube and all the comments. I said, look at these people. They're in here ripping me. He goes, well, that looks fun. So, and it is fun. But don't try this at home. Try it on the road. Anyway, so here is here is where we are. So, hey, Laura, I got to send you a message. Okay, remind me. Just got a business call
Tony,
in the middle of all this. I know, stay focused. I know, John. I know, stay focused. Yeah, but it was a pretty big one. It was a pretty big one.
The most interesting thing you said in that whole rambling rant was, I got distracted. I thought, shocking. You get distracted? Never heard that one before.
All right. So Phil Steele yesterday. Hey, Matt, Phil Steele told me yesterday that he's been doing this. He said I called him the first year of his annual, and I was one of his first interviews. And so he does his first interview with me. That's kind of his little tradition now, which is kind of funny. But, John, he's loyal to people loyal to him. That's what he told me yesterday. And we've gone round and round. And Phil, Matt, you think we ought to get Phil on during the football season? Because he's mentioned that to me. Would he be a good resource, you think, Matt, or no?
Yeah, absolutely. He's worth. I think you've done that once or twice. Yeah, he's absolutely would be worth having on.
I'm gonna reach out to him.
Some of the guests that come on the show.
Go! Present company not in. By the way, John Adams presented by the great Jennifer Morris. Next move, SmokyMountains.com. Jennifer Morris, when I get back, I'm gonna give you a big hug. You're missed. She of Keller Williams. Next move, SmokyMountains.com. The market is really heating up. Here's the thing. You don't want to trust anybody but her. You're buying, selling, or trading your home or whatever you're doing real estate-wise. Jennifer Morris has you now. All right, John, let's move along. I'm going to give you some lines. You're going to tell me surprise, not surprise, about what I thought. Phil Steele goes through every Tennessee game for us each year as part of his appearances and gives us a line. So Phil says that the Furman game is minus 49, John. 3:30 start, ESPN Plus, SEC Network Plus, 3:30 start on September 5, John. Minus 49. What number would you play? Because that's a lot of points for a new quarterback. minus 49 is a lot of points.
Well, that tells me that Furman must be totally inept and even by Patsy standards,
Yes.
easy prey. So, however, that's just too many points. I mean, you score 56 points, and Furman gets a late touchdown, 56-7. I wouldn't. I mean, that's a reasonable line, but I certainly wouldn't. I wouldn't give that many points in an opening game.
Hey, Eskin, are you with the concept there of what John's talking about? That seems like a lot of points, man, in a game like that.
Yeah, a lot of points. You're probably going to lean on your running game, which will milk the clock. Yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't touch a game like that. When the lines are like that, it's hard to judge how the game's going to play out in the second half. So I just think that's probably a little too many points.
I don't know who my quarterback is if I'm betting on that game. I don't know who my playmakers are. I don't know what my team's going to look like. I don't know what my strengths are, my weaknesses. I mean, you know nothing about these teams.
When you have
right
a line like that, you're going to see all the quarterbacks.
Ain't that the truth? Brian Hartman, in your alleged opinion, what do you think?
Well, you're banking on quarterbacks you've never seen play to cover 49 points against a team that probably there's a reason why they're a 49-point underdog. So it's like the irresistible object against the movable force.
Well, one thing about Tennessee, though, I think offensive line will be a strength this year. So if you've got a good offensive line against a weaker opponent, then you know you're going to be able to run the ball. And so you can score pretty easily. So it could be 42-0 at halftime. But you still got to go through that second half. You lose a fumble, something weird happens.
That's right. Right.
That's just so many points to give up, sight unseen. If this were, maybe if this was Ohio State versus Furman, you'd give 49 points.
So making it happen with you, doing our thing on a Tuesday, the great John Adams.
The line would be higher if Ohio State played Furman.
What do you think the line would be? Probably 56.
Well, John, the crazy thing is, and Brian's right, and just thinking about, the concept of early season football is ugly stuff. When you have a 49-point line, they have to cooperate with you. You almost have to score on defense to cover a line like that, if you think about it. Unless they're just like East Tennessee State was a couple years ago, and we played them, and that was just a kicking scrimmage. No offense.
Well, think of some of the teams Tennessee's played in these early season non-conference games. I think Tennessee has been very adept at picking the very lowest of the low a lot of times.
Yeah.
But it's still so many points. And one thing we've discovered in the last 3 or 4 years with all the transfers, there's the odds makers don't know how to evaluate early on. So there's a chance for you to make some money. I sound like I'm promoting gambling, but there is, because I think once they get honed in, I think the lines will be more accurate. And I'm not talking about a one-sided game where one is 49-point favorite, but some of these early season games, you just don't know with how all these transfers will mesh. They may be great. They may be mediocre. Maybe will take a while for a team to get going. So I think you can get some favorable lines. I would tend to go with the underdogs early on.
Investments, John. I call those investments in the early season. Okay, moving along. So for Furman, the Furman game, Feel says is minus 49. Matt, the other thing about the early season football is when you think about an early season game like that, unless Furman is atrocious, they should cover a line that looks similar to that. because Tennessee's not going to show much to Georgia Tech. They're going to keep that thing as vanilla as possible. That Georgia Tech game is a huge, huge doorway game. A huge doorway game, Matt, for this team.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tennessee has to show something because they have to find out what they have at quarterback. But it's just it's a non-competitive game. All respect to Furman and the Paladins and all they do, but it's just not a competitive game. They can't stop. They won't be able to stop Tennessee at all. It's the speed and the line of scrimmage. It's just, Tennessee can name their score and dictate how the game plays out in the second half because it's just not going to be a competitive game.
One other
Smokey
thing,
Ball,
yeah.
Go ahead, John.
On this,
Yeah.
with in the transfer era, you have so many teams, these lower division teams, they lose guys. It's hard to develop continuity at that level. So that might be a reason to give the points. That I don't know how many players Furman lost, but players that want to move up to a high level of play, you see them, they abandon the program with which they started, move up to a higher level of play to prove themselves. And so, I mean, where does a school like Furman go for replacement players? It's really hard for schools like that in the transfer era.
In the 5-for-5 era, John, it's going to get even worse because those teams are going to be younger and younger because what these teams are going to do is they're going to use the Furmans of the world as a feeder system for the big boys. They're going to say, hey, you go there, I'll keep your eye on you.
Well, sure.
I would hate coaching at the lower level. Right now, that would drive me nuts because there's no continuity, and you don't get a bonus prize for finding that 3-star player. You don't get a bonus prize for that anymore. You get rated.
I remember junior colleges used to be that way. Remember Northeastern Oklahoma, Northeastern A&M? I mean, they would.
Oh yeah.
Schools used to place guys at junior colleges, and now you can see them doing it at 4-year colleges. So. But you say, and this is a topic for another day, but this 5-for-5, that's got to clear the courts, and we know how that often goes.
Well, I mean, they're gonna implement it. The thing is, there are some kids right now that want in. Like, I think there are a couple of baseball players from last year's team that would like to try and do and try and exploit that deal. Matt, who's going to tell a baseball player or a softball player, for instance, or a spring sport athlete right now, no, this thing starts this year. You don't count in that. See, that's the problem when you start something in the colleges, which is what John's talking about, and you unilaterally just say, okay, this begins now. And I'm going, well, why? Why does it begin now? I want to come back and get a 5th year. Everybody else gets a 5th year. That's the problem with not having collective bargaining. And until you do, you got a ridiculous sport. But Matt, like for instance, I don't know, I throw a name out there. Give me somebody from last year's team, Matt, that's like a veteran player that could help these guys. Can you think of one that didn't get drafted?
Reese Chapman.
There you go. Chapman. That's an interesting, a guy like that. What are you going to do? I mean, you don't think Josh Elander would take him and make room for him?
Yeah, absolutely, you would.
He's a really good player. That would just, that would really be a boost for Tennessee's lineup if Reese Chapman could come back and play. Solid fielder, good hitter, improved this past year. And here's another aspect of that is baseball could be headed for a strike. And I think it makes baseball franchises, the executives, less likely to invest as much money in some of these, in free agency, for example. If you don't draft a guy, you're not going to spend as much as you normally would on a free agent signee. And so it behooves them to maybe stay in college, get an NIL deal.
Yeah, and the thing about Reese Chapman, which is interesting, is, he's a kid coming out of high school that was at the tippy top of the prospect pool. And there's still a very good ball player in there. He had a really good season last year. Kid like that, Matt, if he goes to like an independent league and just sort of catches on, he's got the tools to play professionally, Matt. I believe, looking at him, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He'll get signed to an undrafted free agent deal with some organization. He won't have to go to the independent ball. I was a little surprised he wasn't drafted at some point, because he doesn't have a lot of leverage in terms of like bonuses, because he's out of eligibility. Kind of like what we're talking about with the 5 for 5. So yeah, he's got some tools and had a really good year and kept getting better. But yeah, I think he might have been rated higher than Dylan Dreiling coming out of high school.
I'm telling you, yes.
In that year, they were both up there at the top. Both of those guys could have turned pro out of high school if they had, a lower number. Those guys could have been drafted out of high school and began their pro career earlier. So yeah, Chapman's would be an interesting test case for that 5 for 5.
He has a great work ethic too. I remember doing a column on him before this past season and talk about his background, how hard he worked to develop himself even way back. And I think it's kind of hard to evaluate, but when you look at what he's done, he seems to be, he keeps getting better. What scouts told him after the 2025 season, what he needed to do, he improved in those areas, made more contact. So he's very conscious of what he needs to do to get better. So yeah, he could, boy, that would be great for Tennessee, because not only is he a good player, he's a really good leader. And you got all these players coming in here, high school recruits, transfers. He would really give Tennessee a strong presence in the dugout.
Valdad's cracking on me. He said, Tony, you look like you're in the Motel 6 and 6. No, I don't, bro. No, I don't. This thing does not look like the Motel. I've never seen a Motel 6 and 6 that looks like that. You tell me. Maybe you've seen a Motel 6 and 6 that looks like that. But
there are no roaches on the wall.
I don't sneeze at Motel 6 is a great value. In my traveling days, John, when I was traveling for business a lot, and Laura and I operated our own infomercial business back in the early 2000s, I was going all over the country. I would stay in places just to save money, John, that sometimes the door would lock and the bottom of the door would bend, and they could almost see in your room.
I've stayed in a hotel like that.
Yeah. We've all done it. One time in San Diego, these people didn't have a room where they were supposed to have a room. And they took me to this home, and I stayed in this. I've never told Laura this story, but I stayed in this bedroom. They didn't have the room they promised me. And the lady that owned the hotel was like, we have this room right up the street, and I had to sleep with the screen door open. And it's San Diego. It's 70 degrees year round. But anyway, I digress.
Okay, so survive the night, Tone.
Well, Matt, you do what you do when you want to save money. John and I are frugal, right, John?
That's how people end up getting killed.
John and I are frugal.
Did you ever stay at the Castleberry Inn? Oh.
When we were at the Castleberry Inn thing, Anthony and I went there. It smelled so, I knew it was going to smell bad. So I brought I'll tell you what, I'll tell you the Castleberry Inn story some other time. We got to talk about the Georgia Tech game. That's interesting, Brian, that you bring that up. Because that's right there in, shall we say, the hood. Right outside of where, Bri? What's the Mercedes-Benz Stadium and all that stuff.
It was a Georgia Dome at the time, but yeah. It was
so next level. Castleberry Inn was literally 1.5-star accommodations. I will never forget that as long as I live.
You shouldn't have stayed there.
John, we didn't stay there. John, have you ever walked in a place and you can't get the smell out of your nose? Like it just smells whatever it smells like a hotel, and I'm not staying here. You walk in your room and you go, I just can't. I'll do anything for love, meatloaf, but I won't do The hat. Have you ever done that, John?
No, I haven't done that, but I checked into a hotel in Gainesville, a Marriott property, which the week of a Florida game one time, and I walked in the bathroom, and just after I checked in, and there were 3 giant roaches, and I said, "No, thank you.
There you go.
I'm out of here."
Thus the feeling Roach Hotel. Well, no offense to Castleberry Inn, but I brought my own air filter, and I'm not real particular, but I knew the thing was going to stink. It was one of those ones that throws ozone into the air, like back when that was a craze. And shout out to my boy Rephilytic Judd. And anyway, so I couldn't kill the smell in the room, and I can't tell. I had taken a little something to sleep. Anthony didn't have his driver's license yet. We drove all the way across town to a spot where the great Jim Robinson and his boy were. And we ended up sleeping in the guy's driveway because Jim Rob wouldn't answer his texts. They were on the back porch having fun. So we slept in our van, me and my, at the time, 16, maybe 15-year-olds. Let's see, what year would that have been? When we kicked off in the Georgia Dome with NC State, Brian. What year was that?
2012.
So Anthony was like 14. I set a good example for him, John. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, you're better off sleeping in your car in a lot of places than some of these hotels. Remember that?
Or a random person's house in San Diego.
Yeah, really, that could have been a serial killer.
Good
Tony.
Lord, Tony, they could still be looking for your body.
Oh,
you could be a missing person.
God. Yeah.
You wouldn't do that, John? They brought me to a house and said, "This is your room."
Are you kidding me? No.
I did.
That's frugal. That's not frugal.
Yeah.
That's incredibly stupid and dangerous. You're lucky to be alive.
It was $75.
You don't watch true crime shows and TV on TV, do you, Tom?
What do they chop people up and
yeah,
like a
Tony.
flop house?
Yeah, welcome to the real world.
Minds episodes of hotel owners that are serial killers.
Do you ever see ever check into the Bates Hotel?
Jim Rob's listening to me. He said, "Tony, we did let you in eventually. 6:30 in the morning, Jim Rob. You came and knocked on my door and said it's time for breakfast." He's over here on YouTube. Listen to me.
You would have been you'd be better off, though. A lot of these places, these stories you're telling me, you would be better off. You could pull up in a parking lot of a decent hotel and sleep in your car. I used to take naps like that.
Yes. See, I agree with that. The most dangerous place when you're traveling to sleep is at a rest stop.
Oh,
you're a sitting duck. You don't do that. If you're going to
go
to, like John's saying, you go to a hotel parking lot, a good high-end hotel, and you just go to sleep in your car.
If you would just go to somebody's house that you don't know and spend the night, then you would stop in. I could see you stopping in a rest area.
No, not me. Not a rest area guy. Matt, are you a rest area guy? Rest areas that's not good.
No. We stopped at a rest area in Florida one time, and before we got out of the car, we saw a guy chasing someone else with a bat. Naturally, that was down there in Florida somewhere, but yeah, no rest areas. There's way too many options. You don't have to fool with rest areas anymore.
I want to shout out David Scallett. He was extreme. He's a great dude. He's called the show a lot of times. He's a friend of the program. Might be listening to us some point in Atlanta, but we drove from the Castleberry Inn. I mean, I'm not proud of this, but I took a sleep aid, begins with Xanax, and I drove across town and told my son, I was like, keep me awake. And that's how bad it smelled, John, at the Castle. No offense to that place.
I'm sure.
But that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Hey. We crashed in his driveway. Jim Rob wouldn't answer. I didn't have David's number. They were on the back porch, shall we say, getting acquainted and enjoying themselves. And David Scallett, I shout you out. Michael Moat said Buc-ee's is a great rest area. Now, I believe that. Buc-ee's is highly populated. It'd be hard for somebody to chop you into 1,000 pieces, John, in a Buc-ee's. Would you agree with that statement? Before we get to the Georgia Tech game.
Yeah. Though.
They only chop brisket at Buc-ee's.
Well, who would not? Never mind.
Well, here's the thing, though. These when Buc-ee's first started, I would say that's true, but now you can't play checkers. You got to play chess. You got to think of moves ahead. What's a serial killer thinking? All these people stopping at Buc-ee's, so he's playing the game too.
Hey, Brian, wasn't there saying back then Castleberry Inn? Wasn't that what they were saying on the air?
That was like a rap they put to the commercial about when they were promoting the trip, and they would always say Castleberry Inn.
I went in that place, and I went Castleberry Inn. That was my rap.
You know what, Tony? I just thought of something. When you checked into that stranger's house,
yes,
in San Diego, you should have been wearing a gorilla suit.
All right, let's go back here. You in that damn gorilla suit. So we got Georgia Tech. This is my hinge game of the year. Some of you are on. I'm not. All right, let's do this. On the other side, John Adams. We're breaking it down scientifically. Jennifer Marsh, she moves right to left across your device. John Adams is here. She's Next Move, SmokyMountains.com. I want to encourage you to go over to tclub.team today. Check out our blog. It's got all the Phil Steele stuff there, what he said, blah, blah, blah. What it really has at the top is the fact that the Kennesaw game is going to be our Machi tailgate this year. Now, the lovely Beth Parks during the Adidas rollout on Friday joined us from Alumni Hall after they got blowed away by Tennessee fans. But the lovely Beth Parks made my eyes water. Okay, my eyes, somebody must have cut an onion when she was talking about how she holds back things all year for these kids. Everybody does their part. To quote Bobby Dooley from the Western Estates Homeowners Association, Paul Noe, it takes a village. And so what I'm trying to say is we could do this on our own, but the beautiful thing about, and I think about people like Holly, who left us earlier in the year, just a little while ago, but I think about people like that at times like this because this is a true volunteer. What am I trying to say here? It's a collective. We need your tickets. More than that, we need you to round up tickets. Now, I was talking to Amachi Brooks. She tells me, hey, Tone, we already got some tickets in. Here's the deal. These things are all digital. Matt, are the tickets in everybody's hands right now? Give me the uninitiated. To walk the uninitiated into. Tickets are out already?
I'm not sure, actually. I'll have to find out. But no, it's all digital. That's for sure. Yeah, it's been that way for a number of years, basically post-COVID.
John, if you want a real hard ticket, you got to pay $30 extra for them to print a ticket for you. Is there anything these people won't do to take advantage of their ticket buyers, John? Do they know? Does any in all these sports?
Absolutely.
Is there anything they?
Absolutely not.
Tickets are out. Michael tells me, people are telling me tickets are out. All right, here we go. We come back. We get to the Georgia Tech game. We talk it out. John, what do you think the number is for the Georgia Tech game, in your humble opinion?
I would say Tennessee by 7.5.
Come back with more on the other side. Let's see how close John is. We come back with more on the other side. Me here, you there. John Adams in the house. Matt Dixon, Brian Hartman. It is a Tuesday. Berkey next hour. the Tennessee baseball team survives and advances through the draft. We'll talk about that more after this. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
The High Noon line of hard seltzers is always a winner and always next level. High Noon vodka seltzers come in 14 flavors with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. Personally, I'm partial black cherry and pineapple. 14 flavors. That's as many bad takes as I've got in a week. In the mood for a kick? Try High Noon vodka iced tea in 6 refreshing flavors, including peach and lemon, green tea, and half and half. Feeling adventurous? Check out High Noon tequila seltzer in 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite, Blood Orange. High Noon real vodka, real fruit juice. Live like the sun is always out. Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. Must be 21 and over to enjoy responsibly.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Baseball fans, it's time to step up to the plate. Look your best. Get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall has the best selection. Top brands for you to choose from this season. Look, it's nice and warm outside. So get into any of their 6 air-conditioned East Tennessee locations. Shop online, download the app, grab your Tennessee baseball jersey, your hat, your decal, maybe a t-shirt, and they have so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 you spend. Go Vols and shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Touch them all with Alumni Hall. When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio Show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
With Gary Sturm. He's with Mortgage Investors Group, making our community a better place every day. Gary, you've been at it 32 years, man.
Yes, Tony, I've been at Mortgage Investors Group for 32 years. We've known each other since, back in the 80s, right?
And we've gotten to know each other recently as our family has gotten involved with another mortgage. Through that whole process, you were a prince, just like Jeker. When he called you at 3 o'clock in the morning after a Tennessee loss, you've been giving your phone number out for a couple decades. And why is that, Gary?
This is the biggest financial decision you're ever going to make. You don't want to trust somebody online, some 800 number. You want to call somebody like myself that's going to give you my number, and you can call me anytime. I'm there to help you. I'm here to help you and your family, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your trust in me. You can call me anytime. You can be like Jeker and call me at 2 a.m. and complain about the Vols just like he did. I'd rather you call me about a mortgage, but that's okay. If you want to cry about the Vols, we can do that too. I'm a Vol at heart. You know that. And if you want to come in and meet with me face to face, I'm here. If you want to do it online, I'm here. That's fine. If you're curious if you can qualify to buy a house, people know the housing market's tough. That's what I'm here for. There's no obligation. You can call me anytime. I get you pre-qualified. Or maybe you've got a mortgage, you're thinking about refinancing. Maybe you want to shorten the term. Maybe you want to go to a 15-year. Who knows? But again, that's what I'm here for. It's what I've been here for 32 years. My number is 865-660-2648. It's 865-660-2648.
Gary Storm at Mortgage Investors Group, going to take great care of you.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, get 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair when you schedule service with Pipe Wrench Home Services. Our licensed technicians are equipped to diagnose the issue, explain your options, and get the repair done right the first time. Don't let a small problem turn into a major headache. That strange noise from your air conditioner, the water heater that's not keeping up, or the drain that keeps backing up won't fix itself. The longer you wait, the bigger the problem can become. At Pipe Wrench Home Services, we make repairs simple with friendly technicians and fast, reliable service that you can count on. We'll arrive ready to identify the problem and get your home back to normal as quickly as possible. Take advantage of 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair and schedule your appointment today at pipewrench.com. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. Restrictions may apply. Eligible for repairs up to $5,000. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
My name's Basilio. I live on the second floor, living upstairs from you. I think you've seen me before. We're on a Tuesday, a great John Adams Tuesday. We're 1 week away from D to the G to the G. Matt Dixon, is this coming into crystal vision for you, Stevie Nicks? Are you right now fired up, focused, and prepared for some DGG? Talk to me.
I just hope we're still talking about him after he commits. Because that would mean that he picks Tennessee.
Yeah. Living listener asks if Rapper Andy's called into the show today yet. Have you been following the Rapper Andy online? It seems like he's just got a new job, but he's trying to move his work schedule around so he can fight again. John, have you seen this? Have you been following his saga online? And then we'll go back to the Georgia Tech game.
I was just looking at a photo of him in his fighting pose. Is he left-handed? From his stance.
Okay. So Bino interviewed, when we had him on before his fight, Bino interviewed him about switching to southpaw. And he told Bino, he said, out of southpaw, you can do a lot of different things. And so he was working with a trainer on becoming, as Charles Shackelford once said, amphibious, using both hands. And so it's interesting, right? He does have a good southpaw stance. All right, let's go back to the Georgia Tech game. It's interesting. Okay, let's go. Yeah, Smokey Vol said he should retire 0-0-0 or 1-1-0-0. Okay. Bender of String said DGG just got his 5th star. Not a good sign for Tennessee. LOL. Who was the guy that we had back in the day that wanted his 5th star, the wide receiver, and he got his 5th star, Matt, and he lasted like 5 minutes here? What was that guy's name? Or John, do you remember? He literally was campaigning.
All those.
We had him on Markeith Ambles.
There you go.
And he ended up in Houston. And he was
I want my 5th star. I remember we interviewed him one time, and I said, man, can we help you? Man, you need to help me get my 5th star. I'm like, okay, we'll help you get your 5th star.
Guy? No.
Oh, come on, Matt. God. I think that was Josh.
Early days of Twitter.
Joshua Bone or Jordan Bone, I think is who you're thinking of. All right, let's go back. No, Preston Williams. That's who the 5th star guy was he was from Atlanta. He was campaigning for us.
There's multiple of these guys that were 5-star receivers that didn't pan out here. There's 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, there is certainly, John, an all Dolly Parton team. We ought to do the all Dolly Parton team next Tuesday on the air. Some of the biggest busts. Let's move along. All right, back to the Georgia Tech game, John. In your humble opinion, 7:00 down there. This is what Feel Steel says. You tell me if you agree with Feel Steel. Here we go. I got Tennessee a 3-point favorite. I think Georgia Tech's a very dangerous team. They're at home. I do think Tennessee's a stronger football team than they are. Tennessee fans should be able to travel there. And I have Tennessee a 3-point favorite at Georgia Tech. John, thoughts?
Well, I thought the line would be 7.5. I don't think Georgia Tech is that good. It lost a lot.
Matt, we're catching them at the right time. The thing, if you're a Georgia Tech fan, you would have to count on is this key guy is a great program guy. He's like a perfect coach for them, Matt. That's the way I look at it. But I agree with John.
Yeah, and he's at his best when they're in the underdog role, which is what they'll be in this one, although just slightly. They do their best. They have their best wins when they're counted out. But we've done this numerous times in recent years with these ACC teams and these games where we spend all summer trying to hype them up and talk about how good they are and how it's a dangerous game for Tennessee, and then it's just non-competitive. I don't know if this one will be like that, but I feel good about Tennessee because they're breaking in a new quarterback as well with a new OC, and I think Hayes King meant a whole lot to them and carried them the last 2 years.
He meant everything to them. He did so much, and I think to me a 7.5 point line. I think the betting line when it comes out game week, I think it will be higher than what Phil's saying. I don't think it'll be a 3-point line. I think it'll be closer to a touchdown. That's why I said 7.5. I would probably take Tennessee and give 7.5.
Here's the thing that's real interesting about the game. It's kind of intriguing to me. I think Indiana's got the best deal going right now. Now, if you talk to people within the sport, they think Indiana's up to something. They think they're, no offense to you, Hoosier Vol Ryan, but they think that their advanced scouting is on the, shall we say, Harbaugh'ian levels. And by the way, shout out Ward Manuel at Michigan. You know, Michigan is a really wonderful program that cares. They care about doing the right thing. They believe in Michigan men. They also believe in espionage. They believe in extramarital affairs and covering them up. They believe in sexual harassment and covering that up in the workplace. They believe in getting away with everything. John, do you not love how Michigan tries to carry themselves like they're better than everybody when in fact they're worse than most people? Do you like that, John? And Ward Manuel, by the way, is still employed. I do want to say, for the record, Walt Love, those of you used to follow the R&B countdown with Walt Baby Love, the number 24 record in America. John, would you not agree with me that it's unbelievable that Ward Manuel is still employed? I mean, that is unbelievable that this guy is still employed.
Well, in a lot of places, he wouldn't be. I think with Michigan, though, aren't you always wary of a program or a coach or somebody who they present themselves as being a step above? And in a way, the Big Ten as a conference in the past, not so much now, but in the past has really done that a lot. It was always as though the Big Ten had higher standards than, say, the SEC did. And now the Big Ten is winning national championships, so I don't think it touts the standards as much as it once did.
Back to Mendoza out of that same league, guys. I can't shake this thought. He was on Indiana's roster. Now, maybe their calculus was, man, his brother was really great here, and this kid's going to have pressure falling in his footsteps and this, that, and the other. John, if the kid was truly any good, you think Kurt Signetti would have let him walk off his roster?
And Indiana's playing with some money, some NIL money now. That's kind of surprising. That raised a question with me. On the other hand, I didn't realize Mendoza would be. I don't know if anybody thought he would be a Heisman Trophy guy. They knew he would be good. He was much better than I thought he would be. But that's a good point because he's in a great situation. You have a lot of guys coming back. On the other hand, this is how you win championships. When you say, we have a player at this position, one is important as quarterback, we think this guy could really turn into a good player. He keeps developing, makes another step this year, could be really good. But Indiana's saying, we just went 16-0. We just won a national championship. We had the best quarterback in the country. We don't need to take a chance on somebody who might be good. We can go and get TCU's quarterback because we know he's good. So it kind of works both ways. I can see Indiana's now in a position where it can go get somebody. It doesn't have to worry about developing somebody or what they might become. Just go and get somebody when you know there's a body of work there that you can count on. So
it's wild.
I wouldn't count out this Mendoza guy, but as Matt brought up, Haynes King was just he wasn't just a really good player. He was such an emotional leader, fiery kind of guy, sort of a smaller version of Tim Tebow that rallied his team, fought through injuries. I mean, I think Georgia Tech is a good example of a program the last couple of years that has been better than the talent level of its depth chart said it should have been. And
I love this. Yeah, I love this key guy for that reason, too. John. Yeah, I think he's a great coach. I think, look, for what they're doing at Georgia Tech, and somebody mentioned this over here on YouTube. A lot of great commenters today over on YouTube. I don't know what's going on. I haven't looked at the tides. Is there a full moon tonight? I have no idea. Like, is there an eclipse happening? In an hour somewhere in the world? Because something's going on. Even Negaday is making sense. But the point is, you think about Georgia Tech, and Matt, John could be right. You can't assume that kid can't play just because Indiana didn't take him, because Indiana might say, yeah, he's pretty good, but we're going to go get great. Because that's what Signetti does. That's Signetti's whole thing. That's what makes them so different. It's like, yeah, we know this guy's pretty good, and we think he's going to be really good by the end of the year, but we're going to go get great. I'm going to go get this Hoover guy who's thrown some interceptions, but I think we can coach him up, and I think we can reach him, and we have the money, and we have the technology, and that's what we're going to do. It's kind of an interesting thought there from John, but I do love Key, Matt. I think he's a hell of a coach.
No, he's a great coach in the perfect spot. I think that's his alma mater, and he just really knows the culture down there and what the program is, and relates to the fans really well, and overachieves there, which in their case is getting 7, 8, 9 wins type seasons with maybe occasionally sneaking into the playoffs when it expands. So yeah, no, I think he's a really solid coach, but it does come down to players, and I don't think Mendoza's great. And like John brought up with Haynes King, he's kind of their Josh Dobbs. He did so much, even though you might not have won anything at the highest level. He pretty much was the face of your program and carried your program to a number of wins over the last couple of years. And he's gone. And I just think that they're going to take a huge step back there.
People are wondering where that Indiana advanced scouting rumor is coming from. It's all over the industry. There are people in coaching that are convinced that those guys are doing something. Convinced.
Oregon probably sparked that rumor a lot.
Yeah.
And maybe Alabama did too.
John, in that Alabama game, they knew exactly what Alabama was doing. We've never seen, outside of when I was a kid and Louisville and Browning Nagel beat Alabama like they were mad at them in a bowl game, I've never seen Alabama get beaten like that.
Well,
we've never seen that.
Well,
that was bizarre.
Yeah, but Georgia beat them pretty bad. That Alabama team, I give them all the credit for beating Oklahoma in the playoff, but that was not – that to me was not a playoff caliber team, even though it made the playoffs. But I think a lot of this has to do with how good Indiana was. It didn't just win a championship, but you know what? I don't know that scouting had anything to do with the fact Indiana played mistake-free like no other team I've ever seen. That to me is coaching, practice, and attention to detail. It didn't lose fumbles. That has nothing to do with scouting. It didn't lose fumbles, and it didn't drop passes. I mean, I bet there were some teams in college football that dropped more passes in one or two games than Indiana did all season. I rarely saw an Indiana receiver drop a pass, and that has nothing to do with scouting. I think those rumors perhaps circulated in part because people just can't comprehend how a team could be that good.
What do you think, Matt? Jealousy? Potentially jealousy? Or something to it, Matt? You and I have talked about it off the air, Matt. Something to it or jealousy? What do you think?
No, I think there's something to it because like they were just so robotic and you don't see college teams do that. You rarely see pro teams do what Indiana did and just look so buttoned up and play so mistake-free on both sides where guys aren't blowing assignments. It's like they just were always in the right spot. But even if that stuff is true, like John said, you still have to make the plays. You still have to tackle the guy. You still have to, catch the ball. You have to not fumble. You have to throw an accurate pass. Like you still have to do all those things. But just everything that they did, it just the entire team and just all season, it just felt a little too good to be true. And I hate to say that because it does take away from what they did.
No,
because it's Indiana won a national title, went undefeated, like nothing fluky about it. They just did it. But just watching the games, something just fell off the whole time because they just looked different than any other college team, even great college teams. I mean, Saban's best Alabama teams would have coverage busts or have mistakes that they would make, and they just never had any of those.
He's got a good point, John. I mean, the route jumping, I go back to the Oregon game and the Alabama game. The route jumping lends itself to the conspiracy theorists saying, hey, they've got they knew where the receiver was going to be more than the receiver knew where the receiver was going to be. Now, that's pretty damn uncanny.
But you still here's the thing, though. We're dealing in these vague generalities. Exactly. Yes. What did they do that was – do you think Ohio State or Texas or Tennessee or Alabama, if they could get an advantage, do you think they wouldn't take it? But what do you think they were doing where they were so – their scouting system was so almost supernatural?
Yep.
I mean, I have a hard time buying into that. It just –
Calhoun's Carp smelled it out over here on Twitter. Or over on YouTube at Tony Basilio. It says the following. It's pretty damning. Hoosier Vol Ryan left the chat. He said, I think they're guilty. Negative. Indiana's execution was beyond anything I've ever seen. Anthony said he was at the Rose Bowl live. He called me after a quarter and said, looks like a cheat code. Because, Matt, they jumped the route early in that game, if you remember. And it was over from that. It was over. The DB looked like he knew where the ball was going more than the. Okay. Here's the thing.
But
I'll give this to you though. Okay, go ahead, John.
Well, what are they doing to get this advantage? How are they doing this?
Brian, give me a legal ID. Give me a legal. We're gonna keep it here. Give me a legal, Brian. I'm living legal and large.
You're listening to FM 105.7.
TB's the man in charge.
1340.
You got a game on you.
WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Living legal and large. The man in charge. You got a game on you. Here we go. So, John, even if that's true, right, which people are saying now, there's a lot of whispers. You think a guy like Tim Banks, you could give him the answers to the test? Or would he have to, like, be one of those people that, like, writes them on his hands, and, like, the kids in high school that would cheat and they're, like, rolling up their sleeve and looking over here and, you know, looking over there? And
Tony, all these we're not talking about NFL guys. We're talking about college players. And you've got this supernatural scouting thing where you get all this information, and then in a week's time, your player's perfected. I just don't
Matt Dixon.
I don't buy that.
Matt, you believe it?
That's where I ultimately get to, like, that jump that John's trying to make that can't see. Even if you have all the answers and your coaches have all this advanced scouting stuff, like at some point you still have to implement that to your players, and on a down basis, like in the moment, your players have to be prepared and understand it. And that's almost impossible to do. I mean, we saw some of the stuff about Michigan and the hand signals and all that. Like, that's hard to do. And so but again, something was they're just the most well-coached and buttoned-up college team that we've ever seen. That's who they were. Now, how they got there, maybe there's some questionable stuff, but everybody plays in the gray. But whatever they did, it worked, and nobody else can do it. And that's what I think is really interesting, because nobody else has been able to come close to having a team perform and play like that on a just consistent down basis.
I think so much of this emanates from coaches whose teams played against Indiana. They've got to try and explain how they could be that bad against Indiana. Alabama's got to explain that to its fan base. Oregon has got to explain it to its fan base. I think that's where these rumors stem from.
It's all in the industry. And Kiffin's Rec Lexus is right. There's an implication out there that they've reached out, and they've got a network of people that are on these staffs that are selling favors. I'm just telling you, John.
Okay.
John, let me ask you something. Do you think with the amount of money that's in gambling right now, compared to, like, I don't know, 30 years ago, I'm talking about right now, because the real epidemic that's going on is, I saw a thing the other day in The Athletic. High school kids and young teens, coaches are saying all these kids have these apps on their phones, okay? Like, that's the next thing. These athletes are growing up now gambling. It's just the way it is. Do you think, John, that it's outside the question that there are inside people selling information to Vegas? And if that's the case, then why not sell it to another team? I mean, it's all the same thing. You're selling information.
Oh, I think selling information for gambling purposes is different. I still go back to what I said earlier, and Matt weighed in on this. In the preparation, a 1 week preparation for an opponent, when Indiana's getting ready to play Ohio State or Indiana's getting ready to play Penn State, do you think that college athletes, you could just hit them with this massive information? They can't assimilate all of it. There's no way. I don't buy that, because we see now, I mean, so many, you talked about busted coverages and things like that. The guys just can't do it, and we see it. And I think that's Tennessee for example, Tennessee has a new defensive coordinator who's very good. Jim Knowles has a great track record. And people say his teams are usually better in the second season. Okay? A second season. So now you're telling me that a team is able to, in just 1 week, absorb all of this material, this wealth of knowledge about opponent, be able to read now Peyton Manning could do that, but how many Peyton Mannings are out there? I just don't think these guys would be thinking so much they couldn't react.
All right, let's move along. So that was fun. So we've gotten through 2 games so far.
2 games
in our exercise. Well, hey,
geez, an hour.
Kennesaw State is our Keith Hatfield Memorial tailgate for the children of Amachi. Tennessee is minus 31, and this is what Phil Steele says. He says, I have Kennesaw, by the way, two consecutive teams from the Atlanta area in a year. Why Tennessee couldn't schedule Georgia State in a year where they don't play Georgia? That would have been a fun quirk of fate. Anyway, Kennesaw State comes to town, 7:45 start. The kids of Omachi going to get a night game. Now that warms me right there. Somewhere. Minus 31 is the line. He said, I know Kennesaw was one of the top teams in CUSA last year, but they went through a lot of change in the offseason. They got hammered in the transfer portal. Vols roll in that game, 31 points. Again, John, you're back to this. And if you want to add anything, living in mid-major football, even with a guy that runs a system similar to ours, that can't be fun.
Of course not. They have tremendous turnover, and they don't have the NIL support what the major schools do. I would have said 34 on that one was my number, but I don't know how. You talk about a guessing game. It's a guessing game with Tennessee, but with the transfers in these lower-level teams, it's even harder to project how good or bad they might be from one season to the next because their attrition is so much and you're bringing in so many new players.
Phil Steele, September 26th, John, what's the number right now, in your humble opinion, that Phil gave me? The Texas game.
Texas game?
Mm-hmm.
I would say 5.5 or 6. Texas.
Hey, Matt, I'm evolving on the Texas game in real time. I think I'm turning into something. I'm morphing into kind of a woolly one on this game. And let me tell you why. I like the noon kickoff. It's like an ambush. Like you just get up and you go get them. Ambush somebody at noon, Matt.
Yeah, that's the recipe to do it. And I just think we'll get a great idea of, obviously we'll know both teams more, but when Texas plays Ohio State, we'll get an idea of where they are, if they're going to be a title contender again, or if they're going to be, I think they were preseason number 1 last year and didn't make the playoffs. So I think that's probably a fair line at this point. If they lose to Ohio State, Tennessee beats Georgia Tech, maybe beats Georgia Tech by a touchdown or 2. And, who knows what that line looks like. But no, that's the game I have circled it. I'm most excited about this year.
+4, John, is the number from Phil.
Okay. So, I had it almost on that, 5.5 or 6.
Yep. He said last year, Arch Manning finally looked like Arch at the end of the year. Top running back had less than 600 yards rushing. This year, they bring in a couple 1,000-yard rushers, including Hollywood Smothers. I don't know if these related to Tom or Dick Smothers. Also, Maurice Brown from Arizona State. They also have a great supporting cast coming back. They add Cam Coleman at wide receiver. Absolutely loaded. And then defensively, they're loaded as well with Colin Simmons come back. He said, I think it's going to be a great game. He said, but I've got Texas as a 4-point favorite. And Phil Steele basically thinks Tennessee could win that game, John, today, right now. Do you believe that? You think it's a winnable game, John?
Well, yeah, I think it's a winnable game, but I would certainly favor Texas. And I don't go. I think on an early start like that, I would rather have Neyland Stadium at night than I would an early start. I think if you were playing in Austin, I would like Tennessee's chances better with the noon start, but I would like Tennessee's chances better with a 7:30 start against Texas in Neyland Stadium with the
I don't know about that.
Well,
that's interesting. Matt, what do you think? I like that waking up early, John. It's 11 o'clock in the morning their time. Just jump on them.
Yeah, that's a way to look at it. But I really like Neyland Stadium at 9. I think it's a really crowds revved up. I think it's a very tough place to win a game for an opponent visiting team.
Matt, am I talking myself into this, that it's an advantage at noon?
Night games in Neyland are always fun. The atmosphere is incredible. Team doesn't always perform like that, unfortunately. But I think Heupel's teams have actually been pretty good in these early windows. Now, mainly that's been on the road, but it is a spot that I think, like John said, you can kind of jump on them early before they kind of get into the game and maybe get you a lead early, which is what Heupel's teams tend to do when they play well. So, I mean, it's just a kickoff time. At some point, it comes down to the players on the field.
I read where the players actually prefer earlier games because they practice in the morning and they don't like sitting around a hotel, especially when you're at home and just waiting all day to go to the stadium and play the game.
Yeah, Brian, I'm with you. I love the concept of, and I know what John's saying.
I read
the
that
visual.
somewhere.
Well, the visual of playing at night is great. I don't know, and we could look this up. I don't know that Tennessee's record is tremendous in these spots at night. But the thing about these games is generally, especially in recent years, you're going to play some high difficulty games at night. So I'm not even sure how fair it is to parse out the sample size and look at it. I don't know how much data you would need, but you're an underdog, you're a young team, you got a young quarterback. I think if I had a veteran quarterback and a more experienced team, sitting around thinking about it all day is fine. But listen, this noon game thing, I think is optimal early in the season. You come off that Georgia Tech game at night. You just played a road game. Hopefully, you have some momentum offensively and you're feeling good about yourself. Now, if your offense has a bunch of issues going into that game and you play a noon game, you could get yourself whacked in that spot. But it feels like the noon start for Texas, while I initially thought, man, what an insult that is to the living Vol fan everywhere, it's starting to feel like that could be an opportunity. We come back, we'll do Auburn. Also, the great Chris Burke joins, and we're just talking about it. You know, Bri, Matt, myself, John, on the heels of talking to Phil yesterday and going through these lines and just giving you a little, shall we say, John, do you use the term primer or primer? What are we doing here for the upcoming season? What is in your vernacular? What do you call that?
I wouldn't call it primer or primer.
What would you call it?
Thank you, Brian.
What do you say?
Preview.
Preview is such a, I don't know.
It's a better word than what you just gave us.
It's a lazy term.
No.
Yeah.
You were reaching. You've done that before.
It's a primer.
See?
I mean, primer, I'm not calling something a primer. That's something I don't think I want to get into.
Brian, speaking of the premiership, Bri, you're the one that brought it up. Who do you like in the kickball game, Bri? Since you brought it up.
I'll go with Spain. Let's take a break, Tony.
More on the other side as we
Tony B,
continue.
inviting you to experience the Collins Insurance difference. And what's that? How about multiple top carriers that you can trust? Like Erie. They underwrite our entire Rainier studio and everything around it. Travelers, Hartford, Hanover, Progressive. We do what's right because we care. In today's technology-driven world, maintaining the human touch, Bruce Springsteen, is one of our main focuses. We deliver the best customer service humanly possible. We give you someone that you can actually call or sit in front of. Imagine that. No call centers here. Experience the Collins Insurance difference. Check them out at collinsinsurantetn.com, and their mama, they're Mrs. B approved. Collins Insurance.
Only 3 homestands remaining for your Knoxville Smokies, and some of the best promotions are still to come. Join us the last week of the month for Paint the Park Pink Night or Knoxville Giants Night. In August, we've got UT Night and free hot dog night, and we end the season in September with Ice Bears Night and Fan Appreciation. So much fun still to come. So get your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com.
Knoxville Smokies.
TB with a few serious questions. You feeling tired, foggy, you gaining weight, or you just don't feel like yourself anymore? Hormone therapy is finally becoming mainstream, but it's truly something my man, Dr. Tom Rogers, has been doing for over 20 years. Dr. Rogers at Performance Medicine wants you to feel your best, and he treats both males and females. So guys, we can do this as a family. At Performance Medicine, hormone therapy is personalized to you. If you're dealing with hot flashes or mood swings or low energy, decreased libido, fatigue, muscle loss, stubborn weight gain, it might be time to find out what your body really needs. No shame in this game. You can do something about all the above. Performance Medicine offers customized hormone treatment plans based on comprehensive lab testing with options like pellets, creams, patches, oral medications, and injections. The goal is simple. Help you feel like yourself again. Next level. Make your life better. Take it to the higher plane. Visit performancemedicine.net. Schedule your consultation today. You'll feel your best with Performance Medicine.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition, top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got 2 locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
Growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org, and both locations we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
Growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities. FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm going to hop online and I'm going to get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting, because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you, not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Nothing makes you realize how much you rely on your air conditioner like a scorching hot day in East Tennessee. You want more than a technician. You want someone you can trust. Schedule Pipe Wrench's $79 AC tune-up now because the heat is here. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 AC tune-up today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Before we continue our look down memory lane and looking ahead to the season, Matt, DGG's decision is next Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. CBS on the YouTube, CBS Sports College Football YouTube channel. 5:30 p.m. Hey, Matt, in your humble opinion, and I want your opinion on this, okay? Is that worthy of us doing a Garza Law extra time, overtime, special show, call-in show to look into it? To talk about it?
I mean, personally, no, but I think for the audience, yeah, it probably is. I just don't follow recruiting at all.
Brian Hartman? Poor Matt. Brian Hartman, are you fired up, focused, and prepared for that?
I would. No,
Both of you guys. What's wrong? If that kid commits, we're on here. Now, I don't know if you guys are on here, but I'm on here. Because this fan base is going to be lit. X will be on here. Cinco will be on here. Are you guys kidding? I want to shout out the Cardinals. I haven't done this yet. So I'm up here with my brothers watching the home run derby. We got really into it. And the Philly crowd was really funny last night. Really funny. Do we have Berkey? We'll have him in a minute. I don't know whether you watched a minute of the World Series, the All-Star game last night, but it was terrific. First of all, Jordan Walker is a mega talent, just a big kid with a great swing, playing in an awesome baseball city. That crowd was so Philadelphia last night. The way they were booing that Contreras guy. Hey, Brian, they didn't do what a lot of crowds do when the hometown guy is on the line. They literally were like booing, heckling. But then when Jordan Walker hit 6 in a row to win, 6 in a row, the crowd behind where his parents were, and they realized it was his parents, were mobbing his parents. The Philly fans were celebrating that, and I celebrate that. As a Philly fan, I celebrated the greatness of having all that pressure on you, because you saw some of those guys crack with the pressure, and I think that was a great baseball moment last night. That was a lot of fun last night.
I'd never even heard of Jordan Walker till last night.
He's a hell of a player. He's one of these breakout young players.
I've got Berkey.
Let's bring Berkey in here. Berkey, how hard do you think it is? Because you saw Contreras. I don't know, Berkey, if you watch a home run derby as I bring your great Chris Burke in. But Berkey, if you did see that, or maybe you saw the highlights, that takes a special guy to sit there and hit 6 in a row with the pressure on him like that. That kid's got a great swing.
Oh, the Burke household was dialed in on that. Him and Schwarber have, similar to kind of Todd Frazier, they have perfect bat pass for the home run derby, really flat swings. Mm-hmm. So they're always hitting line drives or really hard hit fly balls. You see a lot of those guys with the bigger uppercut struggle in the home run derby. But, I mean, the swing aside, that was a big moment for him to hit 6 in a row. And, one thing that was my big takeaway, I think it's pretty cool to hear Brian say he didn't know who Jordan Walker was until last night. The home run derby is so pure and is so kind of at the essence of what everybody loves about the sport, which is just seeing balls fly as far as they can go, that it doesn't matter what Major League Baseball does to that event. It's always great. Like, there's some years are better than others, but contrary to the dunk contest, which feels like just a complete disaster no matter how they try to reinvent it, mostly because the stars just refuse to participate. Major League Baseball just can't kill home run derby. It's always great. And it also fits in a pocket of the schedule where there's not a whole lot else to watch. So it's a perfect thing for Major League Baseball.
Berkey, I love those Philly fans last night. I know you had to be laughing. I mean, those people are so insane. They turned that event, which basically is kind of a fun, sort of celebrate. And it turned into like, we're going to boo you. We're going to heckle you. We're going to laugh when you pop the ball up in the air. And the Contreras guy was a great sport about it. He could have been like, shaking his fist at people. He was a good sport about it. And the Williams kid from St. Louis, just a really cool drink of water. Specifically, though, with those swings, he and Kyle Schwarber, they look so relaxed swinging the baseball, and he looks so relaxed. His swing is just so smooth. Was I seeing things? They weren't trying to muscle the ball out of the park, just smooth baseball swings.
Well, they certainly don't need to muscle the ball out of the park. I mean, I think they play with, let's just say those home run derby balls are closer to Titleist Pro Vs than they are to normal baseballs. But it is kind of funny. We were laughing last night. Like when a guy like Schwarber or any of those guys really that are in the Derby, when they hit a ball good, how small the ballpark looks. I mean, those balls are going well into the second deck, and they make the park. It's similar again to compare it to the dunk contest when those guys make the rim look like it's 8 foot tall. Like to stand at home plate at a big league park and then look out at how far away from home plate those balls are landing. It's the only way to really gain a perspective on just how incredibly strong those guys are. But I do think the baseballs are pretty friendly for that event. I'll say that.
Berkey, speaking of friendly, the draft this year was pretty friendly for the Vols, wasn't it?
It's pretty interesting. Oh, very good. I think a lot of the SEC did very good. Just kind of taking a pulse of the entire league and following it the way I do, and then hearing from some of the coaching staff personally, they all love the way it turned out. So it's going to be interesting to see which ones actually are as good as they all think they're going to be. But by all measurements, by all, what's the right word? Rankings, all publications, Tennessee was right there with anybody in the top of the sport with not only what they added, but then clearly what they kept through the course of the draft. And then, they knew they were going to lose some of the high-end dudes from their class, but they kept a lot of the guys in the middle to kind of just below the very top end of their recruits. So they're loaded. I tell you what's wild, Tony, is, we got this December 1st date where you have to get your roster down to 34.
Yep.
There are going to be some junior colleges that have insane baseball teams this year, like insane, because all these SEC teams are going to be at 38 to 40 come September, and you can only keep 34. And so there's going to be some really good players that become available at the end of this semester. But that's a good problem to have if you're an SEC club.
Hey, Matt, John, jump on that. Isn't that an interesting thing, what he just said? It's going to be a feeding frenzy for who these SEC schools are going to let go in December. And you know what's sad about that? There are a lot of parents out there that think their kids are going to a specific school. And there are a lot of kids are going to get displaced by this because they've turned this thing into a numbers game when they really didn't have to. But that's a sad thing for some of the parents listening to me. And I hope it doesn't happen to some parents that are listening to us, but chances are it's going to. That's sad, John, that we've done this to college sports, isn't it?
Yeah, but I like the fact that baseball players in college can get full scholarships. I think that's a great boon to the sport. And Chris, I think what's significant about baseball as opposed to, say, college football, I always think of spring practice in college football. It's pretty much an insignificant event. Just not a lot happens with it. I don't think it means a whole lot. Coaches may view it completely different, but I haven't seen that much that happens in the spring where you see that again in the fall. Whereas in baseball now, this fall practice, when you've got to cut back your roster, there's a lot of pressure and a lot of thought and a lot of concern, and it really matters, don't you think, Chris?
Oh, it's incredibly important. And there's now they get to play. I think you can play up to 4 games if you want to, but everybody's playing at least a couple. And the reality of especially some of these monster SEC schools Arkansas didn't lose anybody. Vanderbilt kept almost everybody they wanted to keep. Like Texas had a very good draft. I already said LSU and Tennessee. Like the competition. I just saw a post right before I hopped on with you guys where they said one of the LSU beat writers was checking in with a bunch of the LSU recruits, and a kid just informed him that I assume LSU told him he doesn't have a spot. what I would say is, yes, the fall becomes very important. But what I also say, Tony, is as a guy who has a 16-year-old that is probably going to end up playing college baseball, if you don't have your eyes open to the current climate of what's going on, it's really kind of your fault. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have to feel bad for a kid or feel bad for a family. And I know when you say sad, you mean more of just kind of we've turned the climate into what it is. But, like,
yes,
if my kid commits to a Power 4 school, I joke with people all the time. Let's just say it's not Tennessee, so I would have to buy new apparel. I'll be like, I'll buy some apparel for that school December 2nd of his freshman fall. And I'm being dead serious. Like, I just, my eyes are so wide open to it that if he commits to a good school, I'll be like, man, that's great. Hey, bud, you better go. Like, first of all, you better keep getting better. You better play your tail off in the summer. You better go to there in the fall and do everything they ask of you and be awesome in everything they put in front of you. And then you better hope you make the team, because that's just true. Like, if you don't know that's true, then it's kind of your fault.
Matt Dixon, jump in with the great Chris Burke, who joins today on your Basilio show.
Yeah, Berkey, I think a lot of times the coaches kind of have a good idea of what kind of signees and players they're going to lose to the draft, which ones they're going to keep. Were there any surprises from Tennessee's end or and maybe even just the SEC in general of players or incoming players that maybe didn't get picked higher than they were maybe projected to, where it's kind of thrown a wrench into some of the plans?
I think, my interaction with the coaching staff has been that they had a very good feel for how that thing was going to play out. And I think they, tell me if I'm answering your question correctly. I think they might have kept about 2 kids that they were worried about losing, but they didn't over recruit so much that they're now like, I think they have 38. So that means you got to get to 4. And you guys, we all know, I mean, I hope this isn't true, but let's just take the law of averages. A couple people probably get hurt, right? That's probably the case. And you end up having to cut a couple people and that's just the reality of where we're at. But I don't think they lost anybody that threw a wrench into it. And I don't think they kept anybody that they were crazy surprised. Now, maybe the Dunlap kid, maybe the Koniger kid. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Forgive me if I'm not. Like, they did keep a couple famous kids that they were, I think. And then the Ojeda kid, I think there was the third baseman from Baylor, Sanders, the lefty from South Carolina. Like, there was a handful of kids that I think there was some concern, but I also think they felt pretty good about it. Did I answer your question?
Yeah,
Matt?
yeah, you did. Yeah, there's still that the DSA tag that you can finagle numbers around where maybe you don't have to have exactly 34, but so yeah. You
well, here's what's
question.
interesting. The position I think that's the most interesting, guys, is catcher, because you have 4 catchers. Like this Sean Dunlap kid, I don't know if you guys have looked at him. He was the number 2 ranked catcher in the country. 10 years ago, he probably would have been a top 30 pick, but people just don't really draft high school catchers anymore. So the number 2 ranked catcher in the country, again, if you believe high school rankings, is coming to college. Well, Trent Grenlinger's on Team USA, and Levi Clark and Stone Lawless played a ton of baseball last year for Tennessee. And so that becomes, to me, a very crowded, very talented, very interesting position group to follow.
It's really remarkable, the subtle changes we've seen. And let's shout Josh Elander out. This son of a gun knows what he's doing, doesn't he, Berkey? This son of a gun knows what he's doing, man.
I will tell you, and Dixie, I don't know how you felt about it, but I love those guys. I'm close to those guys. I communicate with those guys, but I also have a job to do just from afar, as an analyst. And when I looked at the class and I saw all the kid from Wright State, the kid from Baylor, the kid from UC Irvine, the kid from South Carolina. Like, I looked at it and I thought, man, that's a lot of draft eligible portal kids. I hope they know what they're doing and they got their ducks in a row. Number one, if those kids take a draft opportunity, or number two, if they all end up showing up. And, look, as much as I think of those guys and as much I believe in them, there's still a lot to be proven with a young staff. And the way this thing shook out, and the way they now got all those kids to come, and the way they've built this roster, it can't do anything but continue to breed more trust and confidence in the trajectory of where this coaching staff / program is headed.
And Berkey, you know me, I'm a show me guy, okay? Like that, That's the only way to really do the show, because and show me's a fair thing, I think, because at the end of the day, yeah, it's fair.
You got to do it. You can't.
But
you got to do it.
When a staff shows you, because really that was Tony's team last year, and I can blame Tony and Frank for kind of the way the pitching turned out. I don't understand what they were doing with their bullpen, but this is Elander's dime, and this is his dance floor right now. I got to tell you something. Because Matt and I were talking off the air. You got to thread a needle here with that draft. There's an art to that. There are some teams in the league, or some teams at the top of the sport, got kind of chewed up. They bit off more than they can chew. When you have the 34, when you could oversign, okay, let's just call this what it was. You could make those mistakes. You could hide those mistakes. Right now, you better be really good at playing the guessing game and not lie to yourself.
That's right.
Not lie to yourself.
Yeah, you could sign Reggie Crawford out of UConn.
Yeah.
And if he signs, who cares? Because you signed 7 other kids, right? But if these portal kids that they picked up would have all gotten drafted in the top 10 rounds and all signed, what would we be on here saying? Well, that felt like a young staff that made some miscalculations. But now that they're all coming to school, you're going, man, this staff, because even the last portal kid they picked up, the kid from Clemson, I'll be honest with you, the first thought I had was, why was that kid still available? Oh, I wonder if a bunch of other schools thought he's going to sign. Yeah. And then sure enough, he doesn't get drafted. He's coming to school. So I think in general, the SEC won the draft, because we all know why, because they're paying these kids more than pro ball can pay them. That's just true. But all politics are local, to steal one of your classic lines. And as far as it pertains to the Vols, they really did a nice job. They made all the right calculations. It looks like they've checked a lot of boxes with roster composition, and I'd be surprised if they're not right in the. And you don't know how it's all going to shake out, but the reality is, if you're in the top 6 in the league, you're probably going to be a top 8, top 10 national seed, and you're going to have a real chance to go to Omaha. And they appear to be right in that mix.
The great Chris Burke on the High Noon Hotline. And John, this is great news for the Tennessee baseball fan, what Chris Burke's bringing to us today, that they threaded the needle, did it right, showed a tremendous working knowledge in the moment, and then did really great work in the portal as well. They will have a very formidable baseball team when they take the field in 2027. That's great news.
Yeah, this is when I think of all the college coaching jobs, to me, baseball, it's so challenging, because as you say, you've got to thread the needle, and there's so many obstacles you've got to dodge. You lose players to the draft. You got to get guys out of the portal. You lose guys to the portal. You just don't know. And I wonder if Chris is seemingly optimistic about what Tennessee will look like next season. Chris, do you think right now, I know it's hard to project, but do you think this is a stronger roster than what Tennessee had at this time last year?
100%. I think you look at the people they bring back, and those guys are weathered by the stripes that they earned this past season. I think about guys like Levi Clark and Blaine Brown, like those Trent Gringlingers, kind of the core lineup pieces that you bring back. You think, man, those dudes, those three guys right there. I'm not saying all three of them, but and I know Blaine Brown probably of the three had the roughest second half of the season, but all three of those players are capable of playing at an all-league level. And then I will tell you multiple, I've been out here on the circuit with my kids. I've been seeing a bunch of these coaches out in the recruiting world, and people are very bullish on the Sanders kid from Baylor. I saw one of the Air Force recruiting coordinators, and he told me I'm going to mispronounce his name. I think it's Hanoian or something in that realm. The second baseman from Air Force. He's like, Chris, this kid's a really good player. Like you're going to really like watching him play. So, there's the kid from Wright State. We know had a good series against the Vols last year and had a really good year. So I think position player wise, they're suited to hit the ball at the ballpark and score plenty. But I don't know if you guys saw it, but Baseball America had Landon Mack preseason ranked as the number, like way too early mock draft for 2027. They had Landon Mack number 10. Now, it's easy to kind of forget about Landon Mack just because he didn't pitch down the stretch, but that's a pretty exciting thought. And then the two left-handers, Ojeda and the kid from South Carolina, McCoy, like those kids are very valuable veteran pieces. McCoy was super talented before he got hurt. It does appear like they've added some bullpen depth. And so, John, I'd be shocked if it's not a way more complete roster than the one we saw last year. I think people would have to drastically underperform for that not to be the case.
Hey, Matt, anything else for one of the more eloquent communicators in the history of communications itself, the great Chris Burke? Anything else for him, Matt?
No, I kind of agree that the way that Elander's, kind of managing the program and the roster has been really impressive. We talked about it, how they locked up all their key returnees, within 3 or 4 days of the season ending. I thought that was a big step, and it showed a lot the way they've handled this portal and navigated if you're going to play in the portal and get high-end players, they're going to have some draft risk with them most of the time. So you have to manage that well. They came out of that pretty good. And I know Elander was the recruiting coordinator, and you recruit these guys so far in advance, at least you used to. But I was still really concerned about whether this high-end talent would continue to come to Knoxville once Vitello and even Frank Anderson left. And outside of like the, Jim Tomey's kid, who was not going to come to college anyway, they only really lost 1 or 2 high-end players. And a lot of these guys are still coming to college. And I think that's a really encouraging sign going forward for the program, even though this year was a step back. And you can just look at the draft results and see. You didn't have high-end draft picks besides Coons. Henry Ford was your key guy. And where did he go? Like the 8th round or something? So it's like you just didn't have a great team this year, unfortunately, but the talent is still coming in. And I think Elander this offseason has really impressed me a lot and gives me a lot of confidence going forward.
And I didn't even
really
Cam
impressed.
Appenzeller because I think Cam Appenzeller, I'd be shocked if he doesn't have a monster next couple years on campus. We didn't even mention him. I think the growth you're going to see from year 1 to year 2 with him is going to be huge. And I'll also tell you, I got to meet the new pitching coach on the road, Austin Knight, and boy, was he just a ball of energy and gave me some great vibes. So I thought that was a very, very good sign as well.
Berkey, I'm for you, in the immortal words of my brother Steve, not against you. I love you. Appreciate you appearing on the High Noon Hotline today on the show. DGG in 8 days, Berkey. You got your ear to the ground. You know everybody in all these sports. You're jet set, wheeler dealer, not a kiss stealer, but certainly jet set and a wheeler dealer. What? Don't laugh. What cap is DGG going to put on? And do you believe we should do a special program that night when he picks the Volunteers? Yes or no, Berkey?
No, I don't think you should do a special program. But I don't know about this one, guys. I don't love going up against Ohio State in today's world. Hey,
Berkey. Berkey's. In the immortal words of me, stick to baseball. I had to tell you that a few times down through the years.
That.
Hey, I love you, Berkey. Yeah.
Yeah. You
how
guys
funny was it that the Phillies drafted a pitcher from Tennessee's bullpen after all the Tony Rip? And that's just hilarious.
Yes, I hope he goes up there and just absolutely deals, and Tony has to say great things about him.
Hey, the guy's got great spin rate.
Can I just say the best line of this off season or summer season on our text thread was Briny Boy saying that Oklahoma winning the national championship but being 14 and 16 in the SEC made them a bunch of losers. Briny Boy, you won the summer text thread. Well done. Take a bow, my friend. Well done.
Well, I mean, if you have a losing record, Berkey, you are losers, right?
Yeah. I mean, the national champions are a bunch of losers. What else can you say?
Thank you. I don't even know where to. Thank you, John. I don't even know where to start with this guy. I mean, he comes on here. He's not going to pump me up on DGG. Who asked you, Berkey? What a great appearance by Berkey. We come back on the other side. We get back into the steel numbers. I'm going to get some calls. I'm putting an APB out for Titans Bill in hour 3. We need some mirth in the show as well. We'll take some calls. A high noon overdrive overtime's coming up after
You're
this.
listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
You got a dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contract. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting. He doesn't always drink beer, but when he does, he definitely prefers Dos Equis. That's right. The most interesting man in the world has returned, and he's more interesting than ever before. His phone is addicted to him. All of his teeth, all are wisdom teeth. So raise a Dos Equis to the man, the myth, the legend. And remember, stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis, enjoy responsibly. 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Like our 2026 football Vols, score a T3 TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times, 80 proof of vodka, delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3 TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3 TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's Premium Vodka, T3, Tennessee's Premium Vodka, distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Baseball fans, it's time to step up to the plate. Look your best. Get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall has the best selection. Top brands for you to choose from this season. Look, it's nice and warm outside. So get into any of their 6 air-conditioned East Tennessee locations. Shop online, download the app, grab your Tennessee baseball jersey, your hat, your decal, maybe a T-shirt, and they have so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 you spend. Go Vols and shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Touch them all with Alumni Hall. Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition and top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got 2 locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
Growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org. And both locations, we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
Growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities. FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
The High Noon line of hard seltzers is always a winner and always next level. High Noon vodka seltzers come in 14 flavors with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. Personally, I'm partial black cherry and pineapple. 14 flavors. That's as many bad takes as I've got in a week. In the mood for a kick? Try High Noon vodka iced tea in 6 refreshing flavors, including peach and lemon, green tea, and half and half. Feeling adventurous? Check out High Noon tequila seltzer in 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite, Blood Orange. High Noon Real Vodka, real fruit juice. Live like the sun is always out. Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. Must be 21 and over to enjoy responsibly. It's high noon somewhere, sun's up, and it's time for another High Noon Overtime. The place where we kick back, pop a top, and really get to the bottom of it. Presented by High Noon Hard Seltzer. Made with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. Live like the sun is always out. And now, it's time for High Noon Overtime.
Hey, Brian, we've got a guy in our chat named Jughead's Dog who's criticizing the show. He says, it's after 1 o'clock Eastern time. You think we might take a phone call? John, what do you think of today's show? Honest opinion. What have you thought of today's show? And now that we're in the third hour, has it been good, bad? Should we take more calls? Where are you on that?
I think you should have taken fewer calls than you did, probably. Overall, it was, I would give it a solid B. I think you turned some heads when you talked about spending the night in a stranger's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that perhaps people that hadn't heard you before that might have been listening thought, good Lord, this guy is such a freak. Why would anybody do that? And I think it raised their curiosity, so that might have helped things. But it's always good to have Chris Burke. I don't know what happened to this Tennessee betting line segment. That I think you lost points there. You threw it out there, and then just it just went away.
We're going to go back to it.
Oh,
we're also going to go to our phones. I just had a
Really?
source tell me, and by the way, I want to shout out one of our young listeners There is a listener named Rich who's listening to us. I'm going to call him Young Ricardo. So, Young Ricardo, I shout you out today across this great country of ours.
Why are
and
you
I do
shouting
want to
him
do
out? Why are you
I do want to do an overtime if DGG commits to the Vols. I'm calling the shot right now. Next Thursday, 5:30, Center Square. Be there. We will have a special overdrive edition. James Daniel Livey says the following: hyping up a high school running back in 2026 as a generational difference maker is the greatest wool pulled over the sheep's eyes move by Hubbs and Price since they had rivals give Harrison Bailey his 5th star back in the day.
That's a
Now-
pretty good line.
Now, wait a second here.
That's great.
Matt, John likes the line. Matt, what do you
That's a
think of
really-
that line?
That's a really, really good line. Unfortunately,
What?
It's a really good line.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
And
Tony.
Harrison Bailey couldn't throw the ball across the field, like from one hash mark to the sideline.
We thought we were getting the next Peyton Manning there for a while. Tony, the thing about it, running backs have been so devalued. But what I think is really significant about this, we've talked about this before, is Josh Heupel has produced a really sound offense, running and passing. Good numbers. All running backs pile up stats in this offense. And they did it when he was at Central Florida and when he was an offensive coordinator at Missouri. It's a running back friendly offense. Yet he hasn't been able to go out and sign an elite running back. Now he signed in Dylan Sampson, who turned out to be a terrific running back and SEC Offensive Player of the Year. But on the front end, he hasn't been able to get that kind of player that might go to, say, Ohio State. But now the fact that Tennessee is going head-to-head with Ohio State for a premier running back, that matters. To win that, you got to look at it not from a perspective of you got a really good, promising running back, but also from the possibility you went head-to-head with an NIL powerhouse at Ohio State and beat it one-on-one. And that, to me, would be what would be so significant about it.
I'll tell you this right now. The thing that means, and you're right, John. To me, it would It would signal, and the reason I'm going to do a whatever we're going to do, a little overtime for it, and take some calls. It's a sign. It's a sign of affirmation that Tennessee football is real and belongs among the elites. That's what this will do. I don't think it can play or not. Bino never says this, but he called this getting the possibility of getting him. He called him a credibility recruit, Matt. And I agree with that.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
It's a credibility play. I don't think I can play. I don't even pretend to know. I'm not here to hype him up and I don't think Hubbs and Price or anybody's doing that. We've seen so many guys bust here. We've seen so many guys bust, Matt, right?
Yes. At all positions. But yeah, I mean, I do think he's a little bit different. It seems like he's got a higher ceiling and probably a higher floor than most 5-star guys. And he plays a position that's kind of a plug and play. And like John mentioned, it's a running back friendly offense that you can slide him into. So yeah, it'd be nice to get. We've kind of talked about it, and I've debated it probably more myself than on air, that you've gotten elite production out of running backs the last couple of years without having that signature name. So what do you add by getting this guy? It'll be curious to see what kind of wrinkles Heupel can throw in there if you are to land him and see how that goes, because you already do pretty dang good with your running backs with just kind of average guys.
Johnny, you wasting money because they're going to spend tons of money on this guy. Like right now, they're spending the payroll for football is about $35 million. If they stay at that number next year, they'll be spending roughly 1/7 of their payroll on this guy. They're going to give this guy a ton of money. John, Matt brings up a really good point. Is that vanity, adding him, or is it a risk worth taking if you get a guy that's really, 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 really elite and you have him and he's in the second level? And by the way, two things. I just saw online where the Rapper Andy's fight is back on. APB for the Rapper Andy. We're leaving a light on for you at the Motel 6 in honor of our motel conversation earlier. Also, shout out and APB for Titans Bill. We need some mirth in this program. And Hoosier Vol Ryan, I didn't know you were. I didn't even check because I wasn't giving the number out. So I wasn't planning on taking calls. But if you want to call back, we'd love to talk with you as well. And anybody else that wants to get in at 865-200-5402 here on our high noon overtime. John, is it vanity? Is it vanity to go after this guy when you've already had these backs that lead the league in rushing and all the video game numbers backs already put up?
I think you always want to try and get the best player you can at any position. I think spending a lot of money on a high school running back, I don't know how prudent that would be. I don't think it's the best way to go. A good example, a few years ago, Texas signed C.J. Baxter. He was one of the top running backs in the country. Might have been number one. Goes to Texas, had one decent year, but he was hurt a lot. He transferred after last season. He transferred to South Carolina, I think it was. So C.J. Baxter didn't really – I don't know how much Texas paid him, but Texas, what did Texas do after last season? It goes out and gets two of the top transfer portal running backs, 2,000-yard rushers, Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers, as you mentioned earlier. So that to me is always the way to go, is you go get the transfer who's already proved he can do it. That's where you invest the big money, not in a high school player.
Matt Dixon?
No, I mean, I think it's a risk worth taking because I think it's a high-end talent that could potentially be a game-changer type. There's very few of those. There might not even be one a year at like a position like that. So if he's as special as you kind of think he is, and Ohio State seems to think that as well, I think it's worth taking a risk on. I mean, it's not my money, so it's all monopoly money anyway. Just I don't think you're not overspending, you're not overpaying, you're just getting a player. So I think if you have the resources, go for it. Like there's no harm in paying a guy, just like Columbus brought it up I think yesterday about Ohio State is getting mad. Like, okay, get mad. You're playing within the rules. Texas Tech does it. Like, if you have the resources to bring a guy in and you can do it within your culture and he fits into your program, then go do it. Go get anybody.
Hey, John, one of the reasons why I think Tennessee's going to get this guy, because Columbus is ground zero, up in Ohio, in Columbus. And he says that the people that cover recruiting, and he knows people in the media there, he said they're already starting to make excuses because they're just not used. Those Yankees just aren't used to not getting everybody that they get in the grocery store. They're not used to somebody reaching out and grabbing the last item on the shelf. You know what I mean?
Well, no, and see, I agree with what Matt's saying. If you have, we're not talking about a salary cap. If I don't know what the budget is, if you think this guy, if the coach tells his NIL supporters, this is the guy we need at running back, he's the real deal. No, he's a high school player, but he's the real deal. We got to get this guy, and they're willing to pay for him. You don't turn down the money. You don't turn down a chance to get a player that caliber. But I'm just saying, in general, when you're trying to, you've got a set amount of money that you can spend on NIL, whatever it is, 35 million, 40 million, whatever, and it's best to invest in the portal. But as you mentioned, I think there are other ramifications here. When you can go to head with Ohio State, it sends. And remember, you're in the entertainment business, and fans are spending a lot of money on this program. It sends a message to the fans that, hey, we can compete with anybody, and it offers hope. It's just like right now with Texas Tech or Texas A&M. Texas A&M is killing it in high school recruiting right now after it made the playoff. And
hey,
so,
Matt, the less wide splits, okay, which we've been doing at times, does that affect our running game when we get the superstar? And could that be part of their calculus here? Ghost of Oz brings a good point up.
That's a good thought. I think they've evolved. They're using the 2 tight end sets more to where, and they do a lot of stuff, innovative stuff with their running game that we kind of gloss over, or at least we have here in recent years with some of the pulling guards and the way that they implement their tight ends into their running game and blocking schemes. That's a good thought. I don't know. I just think it's kind of an ever evolving thing. I do think the wide splits have made it a lot easier to create space for running backs to pick up, just easy 4 and 5 yard plays. But that's actually a pretty good thought. I'll think about that. That'll probably be something I'll probably watch for this year to see. That's a really good note I need to make.
Yeah, because the modification. Here's the other thing, and I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently Tennessee's offense, the next level does not like Tennessee's offense, right, Matt? They don't think it translates at all.
What Heupel had been running when he first got here.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, last year they evolved that a lot, and they used a much more kind of NFL type route and splits. They evolved that a lot last year, and so going forward, I assume that'll be the case. But yeah, historically, the wide splits and this kind of veer and shoot Art Brow's offense just doesn't translate to the NFL in any way for really at any position.
The modifications, John, and watching Heupel trying to, I don't want to say reinvent himself. That's way too strong. But watching these guys in real time respond to what defenses have done to them, it's really going to be interesting to watch us. It really is.
Well, when we go back with how Josh Heupel started with such a great offense, we didn't know how good Tennessee would be on defense with him as coach, but we've seen him change. And there was a time there, I think the narrative was, well, Josh Heupel is too set in his ways. He won't change enough. He won't make staff changes enough. He's done that. So he's showing that he's not content to do what he's been doing and win eight or 9 games. He's trying to get better. And that, I think that's another thing that's so encouraging for the fan base. You have to evolve always.
Nick Jackson brings up a great point. Then we'll go back to some of these numbers. Nick Jackson says Heupel claims there are coaches in the NFL that he talks to about certain concepts, and they're picking each other's brains. Listen, that goes on everywhere.
Sure.
You know that one of the great misconceptions is these college guys all hate each other. No, they don't. These college guys all borrow from each other. These college guys, one guy will go and study another guy's offense. One guy will go and study another. Now they're not going to give you your playbook, but they study each other's concepts. They study each other's just everything. Hey, I want to learn this offense. Show it to me. And that goes on. I mean, obviously you have people you're friendlier with. You may have people that, you've seen Heupel bring on some guys that he has a past with and they're consultants or whatever. But it's interesting. It's interesting the way all this plays out. So 865-200-5402 if you want to get in the mix and in the hunt. Let's get Titans Bill in here, who's up next with us. Titans Bill, welcome in.
How you doing, Tony? Hi, John.
Hi, Titans Bill. How are you today?
You got Matt and Brian too, Titans Bill.
Hello, Brian. Hello, Matt Dixon.
And you got and John's.
I want an update on Jesse at some point too during your call.
And John, by the way, is presented by Jennifer Morris. Next move, SmokyMountains.com. She of Keller Williams. She's a big fan of yours, Bill. Why don't you shout her out too?
Okay. What's your name again?
That was enthusiastic. No, it's Jennifer Morris, Titans Bill.
Jennifer Morris. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
she sponsors me on the show.
Hello, Jennifer Morris. How are you?
Hey, Jennifer, radio gets results. Maybe if we say your name 90,000 times, maybe it'll sink into that alleged mind of Titans Bill.
Well, here's the
Talk
thing.
about a goofball.
Here's the problem for Jennifer Morris. She's too young for Titans Bill. If she
she's on at this. Yeah.
If she was 80 years old, he would remember her name.
Well, he'd have her in a. He'd have her in a.
Probably the same age as Charlotte Flair.
Certain bank. Okay, Bill, let's go back here. Bill, let's go back. Bill, let's go back. Charlotte. Bill, so what are you watching right now? That's what we're all wondering. What are you watching?
Well, I'm watching the movie with Joan Crawford in it. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a circus type movie.
A circus type movie? Is Cornell Wilde in it?
No, Cornell Wilde isn't in it.
Oh.
Bill, you don't like Jennifer because she's not a woman of color? Is that what's going on here? Somebody else just said that. W. Lynn's breath.
No. I like Jennifer.
Well, you didn't even know who she was a minute ago.
Well,
yeah, he likes her now, though. She sponsors a show. He knows.
All right.
Oh, come on, guys. Don't do this to me. I like Jennifer.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Jennifer.
Bill, do you believe the Vols are getting DGG on in 8 days? Can you feel it? Do you have DGG fever?
Yeah, I have DGG fever.
You don't sound like you have it.
Well,
okay.
I have
only hijacked the first phone call of the day. Come on.
So,
hey, John, your thoughts right now on Titans Bill's phone call? First, say 4 minutes of this in. 4 minutes in.
I think it was outstanding. I think it's been outstanding the way he just you manipulated him into becoming a Jennifer Morris fan. Back to this Joan Crawford thing. If you could have a date, Titans Bill, with an alive Betty Davis or Joan Crawford, Joan Crawford, who would you pick?
Lana Turner.
Well, that wasn't the option. Betty Davis or Joan Crawford? Which one?
I would say Joan Crawford.
Did you ever see the movie Mommy Dearest?
No.
Oh my God, John, that's so next level.
Played the role. I know Faye Dunaway played the role of Joan Crawford, and she was very abusive to her daughter.
There you go. Yeah, I think if you watch that movie,
there is a punching bag.
She hit her kid, John.
She was. Let's just say she was a staunch disciplinarian with her child.
So she could have been like one of the nuns I had. John, when I drive by the Catholic school where I went from 1 to 8th grade,
you break out in a cold sweat.
Well, the other day I walked by it playing guitar, and my knuckles were starting to shake.
Those rulers.
Oh my God, man!
Yeah.
Did you know any of the kids in from your Louisiana days went to the Catholic schools and used to get whacked?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing. Back in the day, that was a thing.
It made them tougher, though.
I still have marks on my hands. I don't know if it made me tougher. Bill, can I tell you a story?
Sure.
Okay. So Laura just reminded me of something because we were talking about when I was in San Diego. And I guess I'm a trusting soul, John, but Laura just reminded me of this. She said, what about the time you need to bring up on the air that you shared a hotel room with a random guy when your flight was delayed? Or am I imagining that happened?
Good gosh, Tony.
Matt, we were in Baltimore, Maryland.
Good.
And a guy looked at me, and they did one of these things where they pretend that the flight. John, you ever had this where they say,
oh, yeah.
for 9 straight hours, the flight is coming.
Yeah.
Then it's not. Then it's bad weather. And then they made every excuse.
Yeah, there's a mechanical issue they're dealing with. Yeah.
They kicked us out of the tarmac and said, you're fending for yourself. And they shut the doors behind us. They gave us our luggage back and said, you're on your own. And they rescheduled us for flights the next day. You ever had that happen,
what kind
John?
of third-rate airline was that? Good Lord.
Delta?
Yeah, I've had that happen.
Delta.
Delta?
Yeah. If you fly enough, that's going to happen.
Yeah, I used to fly a lot, so yeah, it does.
That happens, right, John? They kick you out.
Yeah, but let's get back to the heart of this story, Tony. You would actually spend the night in a room with someone you had never met.
It's better than that. The guy looks at me and he says, because we're going to Knoxville the next day, and he says to me, he says, aren't you that radio guy? And I say, yeah. He said, he looks at me and he goes, yeah, I'm trying to remember your name. And I said, yeah, my name's Tony Basilio. And he goes, hey, you want to crash with me? I just got a hotel.
Did he actually word it that way, or is that
yes?
Your
do you want to come? Do you want to come?
I'll make it a little bit better, to be honest.
Did he?
I assume there's very few serial killers who are frequent listeners of our show.
I wouldn't assume that.
Laura said, what about the time you shared a hotel room with a random guy when your flight got canceled? Or am I imagining that happened? I just got that text from her, John.
Yeah, Tony, you're turning this into, I mean, you make it sound like it's a joke, but what concerns me is if you're making these decisions in the past, what kind of decision might you make in the future? Think about it, okay?
Bill, give me Bill, that's a little loud. You're distracting the show. Bill,
what?
Your top 5 classic screen beauties, Bill.
On my top 5 classic screen beauties.
Hey, Bill, turn it up. Bill, turn it up a little bit when you're talking. Turn that up just a little bit.
What? I'm no longer on the Joan Crawford movie. I'm now on Law and Order.
All right, turn it up.
Yeah.
The original or SVU?
The original. That's the one. That's who I'm on right now. Oh, all right. My top ladies of beauty, I would probably say the ones that are still with
no,
us
all time, Bill.
All time. Okay. Lana Turner, Barbara Stanwyck, Betty Davis, Ginger Rogers, let's say,
what about Shirley Jones? What happened to Shirley Jones?
Shirley Jones.
Jeez.
She's more of a TV actor.
Well, you said all-time beauty.
No. She's done a lot of good. She's done movies.
Bill, what's the deal with Jesse? Is he update that he's going to Love Island? Matt Dixon wants to know because that's what W. Lynn's Breath just asked. He's going to Love Island.
No, Jesse is in Charleston, South Carolina. He is a member of the Air National Guard. And, if you wanted to know where his dog went, my sister Sue was taking care of him, along with my brother-in-law, Mike, and my niece, Brandy.
I thought you
live in
guys.
Lenore City.
I thought Rod and them. I thought you guys were getting them.
No, we thought that too, but
Does he have another job in TV, Bill?
No, he don't.
But he's in the National Guard.
Yeah, he's in the Air National Guard.
And he's living in Charleston.
Yeah, he's training in Charleston, John.
Well, what's he guarding over there?
Fort Sumter.
Hey, Bill, on the way out, you've got some business to take care of. Hit it, Bill.
All right. This is to your wife. I'm going to sing happy birthday to your wife. What is your wife's name, John?
It's not her birthday. Her name is Melinda.
She's sweet.
Melinda. All right, who's having a birthday today?
Melinda, sing it to her.
Melinda, okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Melinda. Happy birthday to you. Boo-ba-doo-doo-ba-doo-ba-hoo. Yeah.
Bill, thank you. Incredible phone call, by which all others for the rest of the segment will be judged. Love me some Bill. Well, guys, that's it for the show today. Unless, John, you want to do some lines, or have you had enough? You tell me, John.
You want to do like 4 of them?
I thought it's always good to go out on a Titans Bill call.
I want to read one thing to you.
Yeah.
We're going to do one other team. Yeah, it was great. LSU game, November 21st. This is what Feel says. He's got them 90.
I forgot about that.
He's got him 93 on his experience chart. We're back to Feel Steel. Chris Burke hijacked the show. And
why don't you do this? Just do it rapid fire, and give me his line, and I'll say over or under. Let's do it in 30 seconds.
What's the line? What's the number?
On LSU?
Yeah.
LSU by 4. Well, let's just go.
He's got Tennessee at -3.
Tennessee -3, John.
Whoa.
Check this out.
John, what do you think he has Tennessee at South Carolina?
I'd say Tennessee by 12.
Wow. See, you're like me, but he has South Carolina plus -3.
What?
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Oh, I would like to be able to bet on some of his lines.
He said, first of all, I think LSU is going to be a preseason AP top 10 team. And I believe Lane Kiffin portal situation, players he's brought in, and with Sam Leavitt at quarterback, I think the media is going to have them in the top 10 start of the year, 11th at the worst. And they're going to be overrated. They're number 93 on my experience chart. This is practically a brand new team. They have 4 starters back from last year's squad, 3 starters back on defense. Those guys might not even keep their jobs all year. So practically it's a brand new team. Tough to get meshed together. This year I did an article in the magazine called The Homegrown Factor. And you know what? Lynn Magruder, I think, would probably like that, the homegrown. Anyway, we did most of the teams that were homegrown. In other words, you bring in the freshmen, they turn sophomores, juniors, seniors, and they get better. You know the system inside and out. You become a team together as opposed to teams that are just hitting the transfer portal. I think of Florida State. You go 12-0, 13-0 after the SC title game, and then 2 years later, you're struggling to have a winning record. I think it's tough to build a team when you're that heavy in the portal. So the homegrown factor weighed in heavily there. And in this particular matchup, I have Tennessee as a 3-point favorite at home. John, your thoughts?
I think that's, geez, I can't believe that. Homegrown. Ole Miss just made the national semifinals, and they had a new team practically every year under Lane Kiffin. They brought in a quarterback from Ferris State, and he led them to the semifinals. He brought in all these wide receivers at Ole Miss. I mean, Indiana, look how many guys it brought in from James Madison. I don't quite understand his logic there. It's all about the portal now. What,
Matt? What do you think? I think LSU is going to blow up this year. I think they're going to spontaneously combust. I smell that coming. I'm staying on that island. I think it's going to be a mess. And this thing with the governor and him rolling everybody over there, and we're going to bring the top 40 boosters. And I mean, good gosh almighty, John, what are we doing? What are they doing in your state that gave us you? What are we doing?
Well, I didn't realize they have so much money. They got 2 billionaire boosters pouring money into that program. And Lane Kiffin, you got to look at his track record, what he's done with the portal. I know you can't be sure. Things tend to blow up around Lane Kiffin and they lose a game they're not supposed to lose. Okay. But still, he's assembled a really talented roster. And I don't see how you could favor at this point when you don't know who Tennessee's quarterback would be. I don't see how you could make Tennessee a favorite against LSU, even though the game's at Neyland Stadium. And then turn around and you said he's got South Carolina favored over Tennessee? I think South Carolina will get hate to say it, will get Shane Beamer fired this year.
Brian, did you find that to be curious too when he said that yesterday? Because I can only just put him down and put it on paper and, let the chips fall where they may.
I always thought that game could turn out to be a toss-up because
because
so I'm not real surprised that he has them. I thought it might be a pick 'em.
Really?
Yeah.
South Carolina, one of the worst teams.
They've got a returning quarterback coming back.
It surprised me. One of his reasonings for it is the scheduling dynamics. I think he said South Carolina's off a bye. Yep. And Tennessee, I think, is coming off that Alabama game, or it's like Tennessee's it might be Tennessee's seventh game in 7 weeks. I was stunned that he had that too. But listening to his reasoning for it's one of the reasons I like him. He'll go out on a limb like that for something like that, and he'll have a reasoning for it, even if I don't necessarily agree with it. I at least respect that he doesn't just conform to the Vegas lines on some of these.
Well, I guess what he's doing about it, and I'm looking at it the wrong way, because he's looking at it like that's his pick. Where I'm thinking of it is this will be the line. So when you present it that way, South Carolina could certainly upset Tennessee. It's done that in the past at Williams-Brice Stadium. However, just in establishing a line, there aren't many teams in the SEC that I would favor South Carolina against, regardless of the circumstances.
It's pretty next level, Matt. You stop and think about it. Here we are. It's almost upon us. God, it's almost upon us, John. Yeah. By the way, the Vols are bringing, in case you're interested, the Vols are bringing an action-packed edition of that's us. We brought you an action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio show. The Vols are bringing Arion, Matt. They're bringing Jeremiah and Deshaun plus Coach Hype to the SEC Media Days later in the month in Tampa.
2 linebackers? That might be a first.
Yep. Arion
One of them's not even a starter.
Jeremiah and Deshaun. What do you think of that, Matt?
The T-Lander one's kind of unexpected, but Deshaun Bishop's probably the right one for offense, unless you wanted to pick a lineman. I don't know how, if any of those guys would be great in a media setting like that. Aaron Carter's, that makes sense. The T-Lander one's kind of odd though. I don't think he's a starter this year.
No, Amari Campbell will
at least you hope he's not. No offense to him.
Well, it's interesting to me how they've done this through the years. We've been doing this a long time now with the SEC media days, how coaches look at it. The media would like them to bring the players who would present the best storylines. The coaches, that very rarely enters the picture, and they're thinking they like to bring guys that are team guys and they know won't say anything. Some coaches, a lot of coaches look at it this way. They know they won't say anything controversial. They also want these guys to come. It's sort of like a reward. And I think that's why Jeremiah T-Lander is going. He must be a good team guy, a good representative.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Bring guys who are going to represent your school well.
Well, that's fine, but how many media types are going to say, "Man, Tennessee's going to have Jeremiah T-Lander at the."
Well, the other thing is,
can't wait to do a story on him.
That poor guy is going to be standing around waiting for the other guys to get done, which is kind of sad, but because you're going to look at your media guy and go, "Who the world's that guy?"
But I don't think that the best story there, if I'm from anywhere in the Southeast and I'm doing a story, the best story would be Deshaun Bishop. He's a 1,000-yard rusher, and he was not
absolutely
highly acclaimed coming out of high school.
A walk-on from Knoxville.
Exactly.
The NIL era,
Yeah, in the end, he's contradictory to everything that's going on in college football right now. So he, to me, is a really good story. I'd do a column on him if I were, in Tampa or somewhere.
He's well worth celebrating, isn't he, guys?
Yeah, these things can still happen. You think that's from days gone by and could never happen again, but you never know. These guys, when they start playing, go back. I know it's a transfer, but going back to last year at this time, who in the world would have thought a quarterback from Ferris State would transfer to Ole Miss and lead it to the national semifinals?
I'll tell you what, guys, I think we start seeing more and more of that as time goes on, especially when you think about how these guys raid these lower division teams. It's just going to give kids more opportunity. And it shows you that football players are everywhere. They're just everywhere.
It also shows you that you don't really know for sure when you try to evaluate and you think, well, this player is doing this against lower level competition. It's really hard to judge that player because you're not sure about the competition being that high.
I find you guys to be terrific. Matt Dixon, give me a letter grade on today's show and our high noon overtime today. Your thoughts on all the above, Matt?
I think it's an A. Kind of off the rails with some of the hotel stuff to start, which was good. Berkey's always excellent. I think really good discussion today. A Titans Bill call, which is always just kind of out of left field. So no, it's a really good show.
I'm proud of today's show. Some days I'm not. I'm pretty proud of today's show. I really am.
The staying with the stranger stories are troubling.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a miracle you're still here, Tom.
Really? Do you pick up
God's hands?
Do you pick up hitchhikers, Tony? Just curious.
I have.
Yeah, I figured.
If I see somebody and they look friendly or they have like a musical instrument, I'll pick them up. Because I've hitchhiked around here, like up in these parts with my guitar. I've hitchhiked.
Oh my gosh, Tony!
Have you, John? When a musician sees a fellow musician with a guitar, you pick them up.
I've never hitchhiked. Well, I did in the Army on a.
Of course you did.
In a military base, but that was
we
50
grew
years
up.
ago. You don't
John,
do
we
that
grew
now.
up. We grew up with the thumb out. Come on now.
No, on a military base, but I would never pick up a hitchhiker back then.
Things in the 70s, John, you did that you can't do now. How about streaking, John? Did you ever streak?
No, but I know a friend of mine that ran around campus naked with an umbrella over his head.
There you go.
Yeah, but
I streaked. Brian, did you ever streak?
No,
of course not.
What do you mean? Of course not. Brian could have streaked.
No, he's pretty logical and pretty level-headed. I mean, you're just kind of out there.
Pick up a hitchhiker?
Brian,
never.
Never
hitchhiked either.
Did you ever stay in a hotel room with a random guy?
No.
Yeah.
I would sleep on the street before I do that.
And I got in the guy's rental car and I drove with him to the place. And then Laura said, "Are the doors locked? Can you lock the door?" I told her I was doing it. And I said, "No, it's just a kind of an open suite. There's 2 beds." She said, "You're really going to close your eyes?" And I said, "I got one of the best night's sleep I've gotten in a long time at that place." I remember that.
You could have gotten an ice pick in your throat.
Well, that would have been a great night's sleep.
Yeah, it would have been the big sleep.
By the way, as Elvis Costello said, turn out the big light on Allison, which is a great line. So the SEC media takeover tomorrow, Matt, how much of this will you watch? Softball versus Alabama 2026. Matt, in or out?
I'm out. I didn't even know what the takeover was tomorrow.
Men's basketball versus Louisville 2025.
No, why would they pick that game?
Volleyball versus Georgia Tech 2025. In or out, Matt?
I'm going to be out on that one. That was a banger, though.
Baseball versus Texas 2026. In or out?
I'm out. I'm out on all this stuff.
Hey, I got one for you. Spending the night with a stranger at the Scottish Inn. In or out?
I'm out on that one as well.
Oh, okay.
Softball.
Good
Now you
decision.
could sleep in the softball. You could sleep softball. You could sleep in the Scottish Inn parking lot.
Yeah.
Back to our original topic. That wouldn't be a bad place taking that.
Oh, I wouldn't. I wouldn't sleep in that parking lot.
Softball versus Texas 2026 College World Series. Brian, are you in or out on that?
Probably out on most of that.
Men's basketball at Alabama 2026.
Maybe the last 5 minutes.
Rowing 2026 SEC Championship.
WLN's in.
Football at Florida 2025.
That's the only football game they're showing.
Soccer versus North Carolina 2025.
Yeah.
All access spring football. God, that sounds brutal.
Tony, are we still on the air?
And then women's golf 2026 SEC Championship. Here is your job, okay?
24-hour takeover.
Here's your job for tomorrow, living listener. I want you, and we'll give some prizes away, okay? Let's design a bizarro Tennessee takeover day with some bizarro stuff. What I'm thinking about is Lane Kiffin press conference. John Curry and Bev Jimmy Cheek press conference. Bizarro football games. What was the game with LSU we always reference? Matt, we're going to do this tomorrow. Yes.
The Georgia State game with all the boat catching on fire and sinking and the tuba player passing out and getting stepped over. That whole day is kind of bizarro.
Hey, Tony, I've got one for you on the way out. How about this? 3 guys walk into the bar. You're sitting there alone. You got to go. You got to walk out with one of them. Spend the night.
By the way, this is John's final thought, presented by our friends Jennifer Morris.
Okay. You got
Keller
to
Williams. Next move, SmokyMountains.com.
You got to go spend the night at Scottish Inn with one of these guys. Which one would you pick? A, Jeffrey Dahmer. B, Ted Bundy. C, David Berkowitz.
Son of Sam.
Which
and
one
I'll tell
has
you
the
why.
musical
David
instrument
Berkowitz.
with them?
Well, David Berkowitz, in the summer of the Son of Sam, was inspired by the song "Rich Girl," so he's a Hall & Oates fan. So I would take him.
Okay. Well,
you asked me.
Yeah, that's made sense. Ted Bundy was kind of a friendly guy, though. You might have been.
Hey, John, as a kid in the 70s.
You weren't Ted Bundy's type, Tone.
As a kid in the 70s.
Dahmer, I guess you were.
I was in the Army in the 70s. I wasn't a kid in the 70s. I was a kid in the, let's go back to the 60s.
But I'm talking about me as a kid in the 70s and being in Philly. And that stuff would appear on the news. That was very creepy. That whole summer of that was the same summer that New York had the blackout.
That was wasn't that
was
right?
Wild.
Wasn't that kind of the end of disco?
No, it was in the middle of disco craze.
It was in
it was
the middle
77.
Yeah, well, it would have been. So Studio 54 was just getting really
was
cranking up. Yeah.
Yes. All right, we love you. We appreciate you. I thought you were going to say like Ted Bundy, those guys, and then like Titans Bill or something. That would be the punchline.
You got the punchline.
You said you went totally macabre. I'm like, I mean, what is Al Capone going to surface
serial
here?
callers in there too, John.
O.J. Simpson. Oh, that would be a great one now, John. Mark and Columbo. You stay under the same roof with one person, right? Small Mike, Mark and Columbo, or who, or who's the third, Bri? Small Mike, Mark and Columbo. Who's the third, Bri?
Guy in a gorilla. Guy in a gorilla suit.
Guy in a gorilla suit. You got a guy in a gorilla suit sleeping in your basement.
Or negative.
Give me a line.
Let Negative call the front desk and complain about the pillows.
That's got a gorilla suit up here.
They're too full.
Slipped on ice.
Negative just put a comment up here and it said the Scottish Inn is not a good place. Do that in Negative's voice.
Scottish Inn is not a good place.
Do it in Mike Griffith's voice. Scottish Inn is not a good
man. Let's wrap it up, man. Got a softball game to watch, man.
Till we meet again, I love you, John. Great appearance today. Jennifer Morris, thank you. For some reason, you support this, and our other wonderful advertisers. For some reason, you support this. We love you. We thank you. We appreciate you. God, Laura already put the screen up. Laura's sick of me. Love you. Peace.